ACC opener for Louisville. Florida State looking to get in the win column for the first time this season. Anish Shroff, Mike Golick Jr., Taylor McGregor down to the sidelines. So glad you could be with us. Florida State won the toss. They defer, and Louisville will receive here on a Saturday afternoon in Tallahassee. Hassan Hall from the 2. And takes it out across the 30-yard line. And with that, formal introductions, Anish Shroff, Mike Golick Jr. We'll hear from Taylor McGregor in a moment. For Florida State, boy, it's only a few days into fall. It feels like the winter of despair. 0-3, worst start since 1976. How do they right the ship?
Well, it starts by riding your defense. It's done a great job getting upfield, making plays, follow Jermaine Johnson's lead. But then on offense, what do you need to do for whoever's under center at quarterback today? Get the ball out of their hands quickly, and most importantly, stop with the self-inflicted mistakes here. Turning the ball over and penalties have undone this team.
Louisville's got it first. Malik Cunningham under pressure, heaves it downfield. It's caught. Did the receiver stay in bounds? No. Keir Thomas applied the pressure, and Marshawn Ford the target. Ford coming off a career game against UCF in a thrilling win last Friday.
He's the guy they want to find early and often now. A 100-yard performance, like you said, and they think can be really a focal point in this receiver room with his versatility.
Cunningham designed quarterback run. Stuffed in his tracks by Kalen DeLoach. And it sets up 3rd and long, and now all eyes on number 11 for Florida State, Jermaine Johnson, the national leader in sacks and TFLs.
The Georgia transfer has been dynamic. Violent hands and a relentless motor are what drive Jermaine Johnson here. They're going to have a plan for him all day. You see Jalen Mitchell on that side. Expect some sort of chip out of the backfield. Try and help their tackles.
Cunningham's got time, completes over the middle, and a first down grab. Justin Marshall, the catch as we check in with Taylor.
Well, you can tell Malik Cunningham looks good to go. That's something he assured me all week long. Even though he was limping at the end of last week's game, he said, I'm prepared, especially with the extra day of rest. Now, Florida State fans are wondering who's starting at quarterback for their team here today. I talked to Mike Norvell right before the game. He told me that McKenzie Milton will start and get a majority of the snaps. Jordan Travis unavailable to go, so if they have a QB2, it's going to be Chubba Purdy.
Louisville hits on the big play. Touchdown, Cardinals. Tyler Harrell from Malik Cunningham. 59 yards for the score. And the Cards strike first.
You see right here the play action sell, setting up back in the pocket, and then getting it out on time to Tyler Harrell, who had the track scholarship offered in Miami coming out of high school, and you can see the speed on display there. No one within 5 yards of that guy.
Extra point by James Turner is good.
And Anish, when you go into this is where Louisville wants to live. Using their stretch run game to set up play action pass here. And you see the safeties biting up, so you get one-on-one on the backside. And we mentioned the track speed for Tyler Harrell. Miko Dotson just has no chance staying with him in that spot.
Louisville's an example of how one win can turn down the noise on a program. You saw what happened last Friday. Jalen Alderman had the pick-6 winner against UCF. Scott Satterfield had come under some heat last year for flirting with the South Carolina job. He was praised for calling a good game. You carry that momentum onto the road in Tallahassee, score on your first drive. And now for Florida State, they know a win today can do the same for Mike Norvell in this program. This first drive is going to be critical. You have a 3-and-out or some bad penalties, or even worse, a turnover. These fans are going to show their frustration.
This is a mental toughness check right here for this team. We saw a lot of energy in practice. It's still upbeat when we walked around there Friday. You need to see that translate to the field now to be able to respond to this punch that your defense just took on the first drive.
Brock Travolstead to kick it off, and Ja'Kai Douglas deep for Florida State. Douglas a yard into his own end zone. Tripped up shy of the 20-yard line. Quarterbacking Florida State, McKenzie Milton. A marvel of modern medicine, a testament to faith, and a triumph of the human spirit. Suffered a catastrophic knee injury 3 years ago. You're talking about artery and nerve damage. Dislocated knee, torn ligaments. They wondered if he would have to lose his leg. They wondered if he would walk without a limp. Here he is playing football, the redemption story in college football in 2021. On the end around, Ontario Wilson.
For this Florida State group, the challenge is going to be now McKenzie Milton getting the bulk of snaps today. You know which quarterback you're going to have. We've seen him and Jordan Travis exchanging series. You've got to be able to block for the guy you know is back there, a less mobile McKenzie Milton.
Milton going to Malik McClain, the true freshman wideout, stopped in his tracks. Chandler Jones, the stop. It sets up 3rd and long, and this was a coaching staff. We posed the question, who's your alpha in the receiving room? They said it has to be the true freshman McClain.
The preseason freshman All-American from ESPN. He's a guy that moves different when you see him on tape. We've only seen a handful of receptions for him so far. They've got to find ways to...
5 players in the backfield. The penalties decline. It'll be 3rd down.
They've got to find ways to get him the ball in the short area and give him run after the catch opportunities. He's a long, fast player. Let him put those tools on display here.
3rd and 11. Corbin is the running back. Louisville rushes 3, drops 8. Milton is sacked. Pressure coming. Yaya Diaby gets in the backfield, and 3 and out goes Florida State.
And that's just a one-on-one win. There was nothing fancy about that. You've got to be able to keep yourself out of these situations. Three defensive linemen. You see Yaya Diaby going up against Robert Scott, who switched over to the right side. We had seen earlier in the season him manning the left tackle spot. That's been the story for this team, Anish. Up front, they've constantly had to mix and patch pieces, and so you don't have a lot of reps, a lot of continuity in spots for key situations.
Maurice Smith, the starting center, still out, but Bavion Johnson back in. He's the backup. Got hurt last week against Wake Forest. Alex Mastromano can punt with both feet. Sends that one with his right foot to Braden Smith. And Louisville with terrific starting field position at their own 45-yard line. Already 7-0 Cardinals. For a long touchdown pass. Second drive for the Cards after a Florida State 3 and out. And Malik Cunningham, the trigger man, without Javian Hawkins, without Tutu Atwell, without Dez Fitzpatrick this year. Malik Cunningham carries the burden offensively for this team. They'll hand it off here to Jalen Mitchell, who came on at the end of last year and is the undisputed #1 back now for the Cards.
He's done a great job of becoming really well-rounded. We'll see him used in the passing attack, especially when they get into 3rd and medium situations here. This is something new you're seeing this year for Louisville, though. Running inside zone looks up front, trying to get double teams on these big defensive tackles for Florida State.
On 2nd and 9, it's Mitchell again. And close to the equator line, it sets up 3rd down. Now the strength of Florida State is this defensive front. Jermaine Johnson, Keir Thomas, a couple of transfers have been big-time impact players early.
And they're going to get a lot of the attention on the edges, deservedly so. And so I'm looking at Dennis Briggs, Fabian Lovett, the middle of this defensive line, as you see 6 in that Florida State jersey out there. A converted end at D tackle could get some solo looks.
On 3rd and 6, Cunningham to throw. Over the middle, has a receiver wide open, Jordan Watkins. And Louisville makes the line to gain, and then about 4 more. A gain of 10. First down, Cardinals now into Florida State territory.
And you see it. Everyone's got to have eyes back on the quarterback right now because he's such a run threat. And so it's giving their wide receivers big windows on these 3rd downs early in this game.
The give is to Mitchell. Broke the initial tackle and then swarmed for a loss of 3. Amari Gaynor, Florida State's leading tackler last year, led the charge.
This is going to be the chess match early on here. Is on that last play, Florida State committed a safety down, an extra one they rolled into the box to address this run game. Malik Cunningham is going to have to show them again he's willing to go over the top to beat this defense to try and back off that group as they load the box.
Quarterback keeper, it's Cunningham. Snakes toward the edge and then driven back by Miko Dotson. It sets up 3rd down. Well, you talked about going over the top against Florida State. Sidney Williams, one of the starting safeties, suspended for the first half due to a targeting call last week. So it is Brendan Gant who's been getting the start at safety today. Florida State without a key piece back there.
It's just another example of continuity across the board, affecting communications in key areas, offensive line, the defensive backfield.
Louisville 2 for 2 on 3rd downs. Cunningham tucks and runs. Pushed out of bounds by Gant. Only 2. And we may get a late hit on Florida State. And if that's the case, that is a continuation of what we saw a week ago against Wake Forest. Penalties and turnovers were the killer in Winston.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness in the foul in the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And in seeing that live, I thought it was borderline. He's in bounds there.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you're Florida State at this point, you've seen what's undermined you. You can't put yourself in the position for that to be even questioned. I think it's a bad call, but you've made too many of these mistakes.
Yeah, that didn't look that egregious. But you go back to last week, there was the penalty on 3rd and 16, the roughing the kicker penalty. And Louisville gets a fresh set of downs. Another flag down coming behind the play as Jalen Mitchell got the call.
Personal foul. Shot block. Offense, numbers 55 and number 70. 15-yard penalty. First down.
At the left side, Trevor Reed and Caleb Chandler. And there is an injured Florida State player down. It's Gant.
Is presented by Sling TV. Replace cable with affordable live TV with Sling. And in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
The injured Florida State player before we went to break was defensive tackle Dennis Briggs, and he was hurt on the penalty, a chop block.
Yeah, you're going to look at the left tackle right here. Trevor Reed, number 70, working with the left guard, number 55, Caleb Chandler. And you see right here, Chandler's got him engaged up top. He goes down low. And that an easy call for the refs. That's a huge player safety issue, something that's come up a lot.
So Louisville backed up to the 38, 1st and 25. They'll set up the screen. Braden Smith out of the frenzied vortex, still going, and he gets all the way to the 27-yard line. Got 11 back on 1st down. Brought down by Jamie Robinson.
Braden Smith, a dynamic guy they'd love to see break out. He's got a passing TD on the season. He's got a return touchdown. This is a guy with some serious wiggle, and you saw it there in a great screen, just an individual effort play.
Cunningham throws it away over the head of Watkins, and it sets up 3rd and long. And now let's see if Florida State brings pressure. We know they've got Jermaine Johnson II, the Georgia transfer, who's been a one-man maelstrom this year.
Him and Kier Thomas both such big bodies. This team benefiting from a number of transfer players, especially on defense, who have made an impact here. This is an area where you've really got to watch out for Jalen Mitchell coming out of the backfield as you've got this bunch to the left side of the formation trying to clear out bodies and get their running backs some run after the catch opportunities.
Cunningham's got time, too high, off the hands of his intended target, Smith, and it's 4th down. It'll be about a 44-yard field goal for Turner for his career, perfect inside 50.
And holding in the 3 right here, Anish, a huge win for this Florida State defense. We're going to talk a lot about complementary football today. The offense owes you one now after bailing you out on a short field.
Turner's kick clanks through.
You call the bank shot?
Deposit slip for James Turner. 10-0 Louisville, 7:27 to go, first quarter. 2 drives for Scott Satterfield's team, 2 scores. Got Satterfield at Louisville after a successful run at Appalachian State, and his team looking to build off of that win last Friday against UCF. Up 10-0 on the road. ACC opener for the Cards. Ja'Kai Douglas from the 5-yard line for Florida State. And cuts a jagged path close to the 30-yard line. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One, a Big 12 statement game in Norman. Can West Virginia pull off a Norman conquest? The Mountaineers have not beaten the Sooners since joining the Big 12. You have a couple of air raid disciples in Lincoln Riley and Neil Brown who have both embraced the run game.
Much to the dismay of the Godfather Mike Leach, who was in a tough one against LSU today. I think they're kicked out of the club officially.
Second to drive for the Noles after going 3 and out. McKenzie Milton hands it off to Jashaun Corbin, who opened the season with back-to-back 100-yard games. We heard from Taylor McGregor at the start of the broadcast. Jordan Travis unavailable today. So this is McKenzie Milton's game. You've been saying you think that could be a good thing for Florida State. Why?
It clarifies the picture for the offensive line up front. When you've got 2 quarterbacks going in and out, you constantly have to adjust for what are the strengths of the guy? Where is he going to be in the pocket on passing downs? And for Jordan Travis, that could be all over the place. McKenzie Milton, you trust him to be at the launch point where he's intended.
It'll set up 3rd down and 9. Trey Clark just went down, did not appear to be bumped, and might have gotten a little shoulder bump from Ontario Wilson. No flag. So 3rd and 9. Last time on 3rd and long, Louisville brought 3 and got to the quarterback. 4-man rush. Milton. Low throw. McLean brings it in for a 1st down, a gain of 15.
And just what we were talking there, Anish, a clean dish. You get a little bit of pressure late, but you see, everyone understands, all right, this is the launch point. This is where the quarterback is supposed to set up on this particular pass play. And so now I can set as an offensive lineman with my body in between the defender and that landmark, knowing he's going to be there.
Milton evading the pursuit and completes to his tight end, Jordan Wilson, as we check in with Taylor.
Well, look, just to build upon that, I was listening to the offensive line message after that last series, and they were talking about the Louisville pass rush, and they said you have to know where your help is. Get them to your help, and I think we've seen that on this drive.
Taylor, it's so true. Offensive line is the art of knowing when to give and receive help. You saw in the first sack given up, You had help coming from the inside, so you can't get beat outside around the edge. You've got to overset knowing I've got a guard coming my way to try and give me some relief.
Treshaun Ward gets the call. It's 3rd and 4, and technically this is not a 3rd and short. That's defined as 3rd and 3 or less. But it's 3rd and short-ish, and in these situations, Florida State has not been good early on.
3rd and 4 or less for Florida State so far. They've been 28.6% on the season. That's not going to get it done in these spots, but I think it's because they've been too run-reliant in those instances.
Milton gets rid of it quickly. It looked like some miscommunication with the receivers, and it brings up 4th down. Portier was the target.
Just a great individual effort on the inside by Ashton Gelati.
Offense staying out there on 4th down. What does this tell you?
It tells you they understand the opportunity they've got early here. 2 scores from Louisville on the other side. Your defense bailed you out in the short field here. You've got to get it here. Look for the playmaker. We know Malik McClain, they want to feed him. They want him to be the alpha. Get him singled up top and get him the ball.
2 tight ends into the game. Now Ward goes into the slot. Louisville brings the blitz. Milton stands in too high. Wanted his tight end McDonald. And Louisville will take over near midfield.
Right play. Great protection. You just need the ball down. You've got to put that on the body of your big tight end, Cameron McDonald, supposed to be a quarterback's best friend. But right there we see having to go back and up. Had everything else you wanted in that picture here, and that's the unfortunate part about offense that's undermined Florida State is you've got big plays in this offense. You need to make the little plays, the small winning plays to make this thing go.
Now Mike Norvell chatting with his quarterback, McKenzie Milton, transfer from UCF. And Norvell, after the loss to Jacksonville State in week 2, said, hey, listen, it's unacceptable. Then had to double down after the Wake Forest loss. It's top down. 100% of it falls on my shoulders. It's been a tough go in a year plus for Mike Norvell. Cunningham all day to throw. And it looked like his receiver just gave up on the route, Braden Smith.
Covered down on that. Cunningham does a good job of just getting this ball out of harm's way. They understand, though, they're at midfield. They can put a team away like this early. You know a team's reeling coming into a game. The conversation on the Louisville sideline is, hey, we got handed one on that 4th down. We've got to punctuate this with a big-time play. I'd expect them to keep going deep and try and put this thing, put a dagger in this early.
Cunningham keeps it on the zone read. Turns the corner and forced out of bounds. Third down for Louisville. Ball at the 45, 4 to go.
We saw them mix in a lot more read option stuff for Malik Cunningham last week against UCF. Spreading it out, no tight ends in that formation. And really test the discipline on the backside of a defense like that because he's got the speed to hurt you here. As we empty this out, you watch draw as a defender on 3rd down, knowing who's at quarterback here.
Cunningham rolls right, throws back over the middle to Smith, and forward progress gives him the 1st down at the 40.
That, to me, is an area of improvement for Malik Cunningham right there. We see him make plays when the play breaks down, but watch his eyes on this. He breaks contain in the pocket, and his eyes are still scanning downfield. He understands where his guy's going to be when they break out in this scramble drill. That's a great play by your quarterback.
Maurice Berkeley, a former walk-on, picks up 4. Scott Satterfield told us walk-ons are the glue of this program, and Berkeley is one of the running backs in that stable. Marshawn Ford, who had 8 catches for 100 yards in the win against UCF, another former walk-on.
We see all those moments all the time, Anisha, the walk-ons getting scholarships, the viral videos, but seeing the work a guy puts in behind the scenes to get there, that earns the respect of a team and lets you know you can count on him when you get to these Saturdays.
On the ground again, this is Berkeley up the gut and inside the 25, brought down by Jamie Robinson, a gain of 13. quick throw. And on the far side, Jordan Watkins hauls it in. Louisville twice now has started with a short field. Last time out, they got a field goal. Another red zone opportunity for the Cardinals. Looking to go up by 3 scores on a Florida State team that came into this game reeling.
And you're seeing some bigger bodies, multiple tight ends on the field now. Quarterback run going to be a staple when we get to the red zone for the Cardinal.
Here's Smith, former high school quarterback. Thought about the throw, now heaves it into the end zone. Intercepted. Did he stay in bounds? No. Travis Jay came down with it. Just did not get that foot in bounds with possession.
Braden Smith going to the second option on the throw, and let's watch the feet here in the back of the end zone.
Now they may have to look at that. They may look at that one more time. Now that is at least worth a replay review.
Complete pass. The previous play is in the further review.
Couple of things to remember here. You need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was incomplete. And the question here is, when that foot comes down in the end zone, did he have possession of the football?
The other thing to note here is it's a little confusing in the back of this end zone because you've got both lines right there. And so when we first looked at it, you'd see one and think he was inside the other. I think the foot clearly out of bounds in this situation when he comes down with the ball, as we're going to see on the replay right here. That first white line is the one you're watching for.
Yeah.
And both feet clearly out of bounds there. This will be an easy one. And
further review, the ruling is confirmed. It'll be third down.
And when we had the close-up, you just saw that back line, that second line, and it looked like one foot was in, but clearly out of bounds. A break for Louisville, and oh boy, for Florida State, the gravity of discontent grows. You think about it, Shakespearean almost, right? First 2 games, slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, the way they lost to Notre Dame and Jacksonville State. A sea of trouble in Winston, and as we said at the top of the broadcast, a few days into fall, there's a winter of discontent feel here.
And you got to break that cold right now with Jermaine Johnson. He's been quiet so far.
Cunningham has an open receiver. It's Smith, and it'll be first and goal. A flag at the end of the play. Might be a face mask. Also a flag back at the 18.
That looked like a spot. You saw that mesh route, the linebackers, or excuse me, the wide receivers coming across the field for what the offense calls a rub, the defense calls a pick. And in that area, looks like they might have got him. A lot of contact there to spring Braden Smith loose for that first down.
After further discussion, there is no foul for pass interference on the play on number 81 of the offense. It'll be first down.
We'll see right here, again, the mesh route coming across the field. You're going to watch Braden Smith, number 4, coming backside with Marshawn Ford at tight end there, crossing in the middle of this field. And you're trying to get exactly right there. The sell by Marshawn Ford. Speaking of Shakespearean, a little dramatic on that one, but he tries to get in the way as opposed to throwing a block. And the linebacker more than happy to meet him there. That contact felt mutual enough to where, as an offensive player, I'm going to say that feels like a rub.
The Bard approves, and therein lies the rub. Berkeley the call. Down here, the run game twofold. Running back and quarterback. Cunningham has had multiple rush TDs in every game this season. He'll keep. Malik Cunningham barges in. Touchdown, Louisville.
And what have we seen, Anish, is the common thread on these drives? Penalties coming up here, mistakes in the gap. This is a difficult play because with Malik Cunningham as a rush threat, you're thinking as a defender, I got to hold the backside. When he follows the running back through that hole as the lead here, you've bought an extra hat as an offense, you've acquired an extra blocker at the point of attack, and now you get a critical touchdown.
17-0 Louisville.
You're going to see here the pistol formation, not usually one where you think about a quarterback getting a lead block from his running back right here. But that's exactly what we're going to get. He follows him right through the hole instead of reading a backside end and going through here. It's a creative formation to get to a lead rush for your quarterback. Just another one of the examples of Scott Satterfield finding interesting ways to utilize Malik.
Yeah, and that's a good way of using Berkeley, too. They really like Berkeley as a blocker in pass protection, as a lead blocker. That's how they used him there. Cunningham follows. Louisville, 3 drives, 2 touchdowns into field goal. Florida State went 3 and out, then had a 4th down from near midfield, didn't get it. Louisville takes advantage of the short field and goes in. 150 total yards for the Cardinals, 15 for Florida State. How surprised are you by what we're seeing so far?
This has been the story of Florida State's season, unfortunately. As we see them bang a knee right here. Anish, it's been one player making a mistake here and there on these plays. One guy gives up a sack in a one-on-one matchup. McKenzie Milton, an errant throw on that 4th down here. You've got 10 guys doing the right thing and one guy so far undercutting you in a lot of these plays.
Taco Bell welcomes you to the Live Moss Student Section of the Year contest. Use hashtag Student Section Sauce to get the committee's attention, and go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. They are waiting to cheer here in Tallahassee. 0-3, still looking for the first win, the first home win of the season. Corbin, the running back, 1st and 10 from the 25. Milton has to get rid of it, looking for McDonald, who goes up to grab it. The veteran tight end, a gain of 27. And there is a flag.
Personal foul, illegal use of hands to the face, defense, number 97. A 15-yard penalty to the end of the run. First down.
Ashton Gelati, so Florida State into Louisville territory after the penalty.
Cameron McDonald, after the high pass on 4th down, said go gadget arms on that one. But a great job by McKenzie Milton. You got a blitz there. You got a single high safety, which meant the seams were open for business. He drills one to his tight end who makes a great play. Now you got to string it into 2 here. Now you got to see, can we get our rushing game involved? Get a little bit of balance here.
The give is to Corbin. He's explosive. And ran into a roadblock shy of the 30, picks up 7. McKenzie Milton did not start the opener. That was Jordan Travis. Late against Notre Dame. Travis had to come out of the game. His helmet came off. McKenzie Milton entered and nearly led Florida State back. Got the start against Jacksonville State and Wake. Getting the start again today. Travis not available. Milton on the run. Out of bounds near the sticks. It'll bring up 3rd and short, and again, 3rd and less than 4 this year. Florida State 4 of 12 entering play. Part of the issue, their coaches said, they have not been able to force their will and to just run the ball up the middle, so we may see something to the perimeter here.
And you're seeing multiple tight ends in here now. They want to lengthen the edge of this line, try and get their running backs cutback lanes up front.
Milton will try to keep it. Nowhere to go. And he's somehow able to fall across the line to gain and appears to have the first down.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Maybe a little something for Florida State to take into the second quarter. Milton, the third down conversion. Malik Cunningham, a touchdown pass and a rushing touchdown. The Cards in control. Second quarter, all Louisville so far. College football on ESPN presented by Sling TV. Still plenty of good seats at Doak Campbell on a Saturday afternoon. The Seminoles need some momentum here. 0-3, down 3 scores. And we'll get the season debut of the Auburn transfer DJ Williams in the backfield. Milton checks down. He's got McDonald, who bullies his way to the 20-yard line and sets up 2nd and 2.
Great job by McKenzie Milton. That third down throw has settled him down in this game now. He looks much more in control of directing traffic for this entire Florida State offense right now.
Louisville defensively without one of its best players, Monty Montgomery, out for the season, torn ACL. He suffered it at the end of the UCF game. Williams in the backfield, and Jashaun Corbin, their leading rusher, in the slot. Here is DJ Williams. Does not get very far, and here we go. Another 3rd and short for Florida State, where their struggles have been amplified.
And we've seen for the Seminoles so far, what have a lot of their runs looked like here? Power runs, counter, getting pullers out in space here for a group that's had so many guys switching sides. Darius Washington, their left tackle, played 3 positions last week. As we see him moving over to the right side here, we've got a tackle over right here, trying to get some big bodies out in front.
Wilson in motion. Open sesame, touchdown, Jashaun Ward.
What an answer by this Florida State offense here. Down 17 after the first quarter here, and come out and put together by far your most complete drive there, led by McKenzie Milton's command of everything that we saw with him in that sideline.
The extra point by Ryan Fitzgerald True. Florida State on the board. It's Jashaun Ward, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. Preached patience, and I like what he said. Hey, most of us are not sure if Mike Norvell is going to be the guy, but you have to give him a chance to grow into this. 3 head coaches in 5 years. There is a top 10 recruiting class on the horizon coming next season. If the vultures are circling and you make a rash decision, you risk setting it all back even further. Hassan Hall, a dangerous kick returner. Looked like he ran into his own man and taken down inside the 20. Back to that first Florida State touchdown.
Yeah, you're going to watch this here. So they went tackle over. They brought Darius Washington from left tackle to right tackle. And then they sent Ontario Wilson in motion. And watch, on the other side here, you get the safety running with him across the field. Nick Okeke biting on man here, following his guy, and that gives you wide open spaces there. McKenzie Milton, again, not the runner Jordan Travis is. This staff knew to hold that backside, we've got to window dress this. We've got to send some jet motion there, and that time, you get man coverage down in the low red zone, you get a defender running, and you get a big wide open hole for a much-needed touchdown.
Louisville with its worst starting field position of the game. Cunningham to throw, and completes toward the sideline. It's Watkins, another catch. 2nd and 1, and now you can open up the playbook. Cunningham today dangerous with his feet and his arm. Isaac Martin, another blocker. Here's Berkeley. And it looks like he's able to move the chains. Taylor.
Your hands in the pass lane to respect what he's doing at quarterback.
And I think in that instance, Anish, what Taylor's talking about is, what are your priorities on defense? When personnel run onto the field, you got to know who's in the backfield, who's at each particular spot. And at quarterback, you've seen Malik Cunningham is the biggest threat on the ground against you right now. You've got to stop that first and foremost.
On the ground one more time. And Berkeley, another strong run. He gets 11 that time. Berkeley had a career-high 63 yards on the ground against Florida State last year.
And that's a little more of what you've come to expect from Louisville over the years, Anish. We mentioned they're breaking in some more inside zone this year, some different plays than we've seen. With Scott Satterfield and this entire App State tree, these are outside zone folks here running that run and cut stretch play to perfection.
One more time, it's Berkeley. He's a power runner. And let's check in with Kevin Connors.
All right, Anish, your Rocket Mortgage Studio update. Big game at Jerry World. Number 7, Texas A&M taking on number 16, Arkansas. KJ Jefferson to the elite receiver, Traylon Burke. It covers 85 yards. The Razorbacks just punched another in. It's 17-0.
There's a happy sideline reporter who's an Arkansas alum. Another pickup of 2, and Louisville's gone to the ground game here on this drive. Remember, Florida State defensively came into this game as among the national leaders in TFLs and sacks.
And Louisville's done a good job of keeping it in third and medium situations. The minute you get it to 3rd and 7+, as an offensive lineman, I understand I'm less likely to have help from my back, a tight end, and now you get these one-on-one pass rushes with some of the freaks Florida State has up front.
Louisville 4 of 5 on 3rd down. Cunningham hits Watkins, or rather Tyler Harrell, at the sticks for a 1st down. Harrell had that 59-yard touchdown on the first Louisville drive.
And if this quick game can continue to be as consistent for Malik Cunningham, that's been the missing piece for this offense at a lot of points this year. We've seen those rollout plays, the bootlegs, deep shots. But if that middle of the field all of a sudden can be something Malik Cunningham dissects, this Louisville offense can take the next step.
Off play action. Cunningham to Marshawn Ford. Tiptoeing this sideline. Let's see where they mark him out. A gain of 3. Cunningham 2 years ago looked like he was going to be a star in the ACC. Regressed last year. Last week, though, he looked like the Malik Cunningham we saw in 2019.
I think this entire team really made the adjustment of saying, you know what, the tip of the spear for us, the guy that we want to threaten most, is with Malik Cunningham, is making use of him as a runner here. And it gets you in situations like this where now you can drop him back as a passer, but you've got a run option on the scramble off that.
5 wide. Cunningham underneath Josh Johnson. Fights his way across the 40. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Johnson, with his 10th catch of the season, had 8 in his first 4 seasons with Louisville.
And you see a little bit of tempo from Louisville right now. They know they've been open for business up front all day long. Expect another rushing attempt.
Cunningham keeps. 1st down. Still going. Out of bounds after a big gain. Give him 15, and boy, pick your poison.
And that's a great job by the play callers, seeing 3rd and 1, saying, let's get up to the line. Now you've got a defense scrambling to get set, and then you're supposed to identify and be able to track Malik Cunningham, who's an outstanding athlete on his own right here. That's just a great understanding of the situation that you had available to. As you see, now they throttle back. They slow down the pace again and substitute some personnel.
Only Lamar Jackson has more rushing yards from the quarterback position for Louisville. Cunningham will throw. Mitchell picked up the blitz. Downfield, had a man open. It was Watkins, and it's incomplete.
Tons of credit Anish, to this Louisville offensive line so far. We highlighted the penalty earlier, but since there, it's been clean pockets for this group up front. We have talked about Jermaine Johnson, Keir Thomas, and all these guys, but we haven't heard their names called behind the line of scrimmage where they usually live. This is a tackle for loss and sack-based defense up front, and they've been stymied so far.
11th play of the drive. Cunningham throws on the run and hauled in by Marshall for a first down. His 7th catch of the year, 13 on the play.
This is a ball that I think has been missing from Malik Cunningham's game. They do these rollouts all the time, and you watch on film, he misses these backside routes, the second route in these levels concepts here, and that time he gets Justin Marshall coming all the way from the backside. It requires patience and understanding to be able to look back and make that throw with confidence. This is another step forward for him.
From the 12. And Mitchell upended after a short gain. Second and 8 from the 10. Isaac Martin, another big body, number 41 in white, comes in. And down here again, quarterback run becomes an even bigger part of the playbook. Jalen Mitchell. Hammerheads to about the 6-yard line. It's 3rd down and 4.
We've seen so many of these plays where you're right. You get Isaac Martin, you get Francis Sherman in the backfield. And again, as a defense, you're keying run on those indicators. As now we see Marshawn Ford come back onto the field, so now you've got to be aware. All right, the passing tight end is in there. They're probably going to try and slip him out the backside here, see if they can get an easy layup for their quarterback if the defense isn't paying attention.
Play clock at 2, and Louisville calls a timeout. Third and 4.
History of Louisville football and also a mentor to current quarterback Malik Cunningham. Malik told me that they spent a year together, and during that time he learned that the importance of being yourself when you're a starting quarterback at Louisville. And he also said that Lamar taught him to always give credit when credit's due, and he said the reason I'm so thankful for my offensive line is because of Lamar. He said those guys don't get enough credit for all the hard work they put in. Smart guys, aren't they?
Lamar, Teddy Bridgewater, now Malik Cunningham. This is Jalen Mitchell, and he's inside the 1. 1st and goal, Louisville. 4 chances to punch it in from a yard out.
And they're going back to tempo right here. This is where you've got to be really aware of Malik Cunningham sneaking out the back door like we saw before.
Cunningham in for 6. He has now had 2 rushing touchdowns in every game this season.
1 passing touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns in each game to start the first 4 games of his season. To do that through 3 games, the only other 2 players in the last 25 years, Lamar Jackson and Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, good list.
Unbelievable.
And Florida State defensively has had no answer for Cunningham and Louisville. Turner's kick is good. 4 drives now for the Cardinals. 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Louisville up 17 on the road.
It had a little bit of everything in there, but I think above all else, Anish, it highlights the decision-making by your quarterback right now. Malik Cunningham is seeing the picture very clearly and making decisions in the run and pass to help it.
Ja'Kai Douglas devoured shy of the 15. Kevin?
Anish, your AT&T 5G update. Number 14, Iowa State in Waco. Baylor is rolling, Acho. Jerry Bohannon to Ben Sims.
Yeah, Bohannon's 10 of 11 for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. There's a late motion by the running back, which caused a miscommunication on the defense.
Bears up 11, Anish.
Dave Aranda, 2nd season. One of the things to come out of the Big 12 last year, when Aranda took over without any spring ball, Baylor plays hard. They flashed a toughness year 2. Boy, they are ahead of schedule. Jashaun Corbin. A loss of a couple on the play. We were talking in the break, Mike Golick Jr. Florida State today, 3 of 5 on third downs, only 1 penalty, no turnovers. Their struggles offensively have more to do with Louisville's defense.
They've been outstanding. Louisville's defense, descendant from what we saw from Scott Satterfield and Brian Brown at App State. It's like a net. They want to keep everything inside and then close around it after the snap here. And so far, that discipline on display.
Milton to throw. He's got Corbin. And again, not much after the catch. A gain of 6. Louisville tackling in space extremely well today.
It's been remarkable, and again, doing this without the leader of their defense in Monty Montgomery, who some could say this is the best player on their team, and now going to be lost. They're stepping up and filling that role with Jalen Alderman, who everyone got to know very well at the end of that UCF game.
6.
He didn't play a snap before that play, Anish.
First snap, pick 6, and he's got T-shirts now. Low snap. Milton pumps. Over the middle, low throw. Ruled incomplete. And you can start to feel a little bit of the angst in this crowd. A 3 and out for Florida State.
And that's another one, Anish. I didn't see if that ball got tipped or not, but if it didn't, that's another off-target throw on a critical third down from McKenzie Milton. We saw him go high before, low on that one, because he had a clean pocket. He had an open player here. Again, unless I missed a tip, it's another tough throw.
Mastromano can punt with both feet. His right foot the stronger one. And Braden Smith had a punt return for a touchdown against Eastern Kentucky. Makes the fair catch after a 48-yard kick. 3 on the number 2 team. 2017, Louisville wins at Doak on a late field goal. 2018, another comeback by Florida State. Down 21-7 at halftime. DeAndre Francois to Nyquan Murray with 1:13 left for the game winner. Quarterback draw by Malik Cunningham and tackled in the backfield by Keir Thomas. 6th-year grad transfer from South Carolina, where he started 30-plus games. Tempo now by Louisville. Out of the empty set, Cunningham over the middle, right down the seam. It's the tight end, Marshawn Ford, to the 45 of Florida State.
More tempo here. They saw middle of the field open for business off that last look. Spread out the formation and give your quarterback a clear picture, as now we're going to see big personnel coming back onto the field. First down. Let's establish the run.
Mitchell in the backfield, Martin in there to block. Mitchell on the cutback. And able to pick up 2. Kalen DeLoach looked like he had him for a shorter gain, and Mitchell able to extend that for another yard and a half.
Able to do a good job. You see on a lot of these lead plays, what it's supposed to do for your offensive line up front, give you angles. You got a guy accounting for that front side backer. I get a nice double team to try and work up, but you've got to keep eyes on your backer. That time DeLoach able to sneak through.
Cunningham. Incomplete. Wanted Amari Huggins Bruce, the freshman from Dillon, South Carolina. Had a 94-yard almost touchdown against Eastern Kentucky, but dropped the ball before he crossed to the goal line. And
no time to make another axe common to the game here. That's an incomplete pass, no doubt about it, setting up a 3rd and long.
That looks like they may look at this one.
On the field is an incomplete pass. Previous plays under further review.
I don't know if he ever established possession there for that to be a catch and a fumble.
So again, what we need in that spot is for him to complete the catch and then have time to make a football move, an axe common to the game. And it's such a bang-bang play right there. I don't think you see him turn up field at all. That ball gets punched out almost immediately.
Now the question is, what he did, does that constitute a football move? Catch, is that a football move, that little half step? Again, it's got to be clear, and if there's any gray area, they will default to the ruling on the field. This is one where if that's ruled a fumble on the field,
more than likely stands.
Probably stands.
We're right on the gray area of football move. But I think ultimately called incomplete on the field. I just don't see enough of him turning upfield. This is almost Brendan Gant doing too good of a job getting there right as the ball gets to his hands.
This is where it becomes a little subjective in this review. You make the catch, and then you have to complete a football move.
On the field stands with an incomplete pass. They're down.
Verbiage is important. Stands, not confirmed.
Yes.
So, to the point we just made.
And that's the difficulty of those things happening at high speed, being dependent on the call on the field. But when you're the officials, again, you don't see his head really have time to turn all the way upfield, him make a big angle move. That ball gets punched out almost immediately. Completely understand the officials.
Louisville 7 of 8 on third down. This may be 4-down territory as well. So a run may be on the table. Cards have scored on every drive. 4-man pressure. Cunningham's got time. Toward the sideline, low throw. Is it a catch? It is. And it's first down for Ford.
Another one of his favorite targets, but you see, clean pocket here, 4-man pressure, and you've got no one making Malik Cunningham's life difficult in that backfield.
Third down defense has been a problem for Florida State. Louisville 8 of 9 now.
And you mentioned the run being in play. This is where it becomes a nightmare. We haven't seen Malik Cunningham keep one on this drive yet here. Defense gets lulled into a false sense of security.
Jalen Mitchell crashing through that Florida State phalanx, and he's to the 33-yard line. Gant the stop. Give him 4.
This is the area of the field again. They're going to test your eyes on this. They're setting up their boot action with all of these lead runs here, where you can get Marshawn Ford now exiting the field, so less likely if you're the defense, but still something we've seen a lot of when they get down into this area of the field.
Cunningham, little speed option. That's Braden Smith. Bumped out of bounds, a gain of 2. Third down. This is your 4-minute offense now we're seeing from Louisville.
This is the challenge to your offensive line in every game, the situation that you work for here. Jack Bicknell, their new offensive line coach this year, as Dwayne Ledford heads to coach the Atlanta Falcons. This is where on the sideline you look at these guys and say, we're going to put the game in your hands right now. Keep it clean here. And in this case now, you know your quarterback, the dynamic run threat, they're going to spread this out, try and let him go one-on-one with a linebacker in the box and get you that first down.
A Louisville coaching staff that replaced 4 assistants in the offseason. Cunningham over the middle. Braden Smith hangs on and moves the chains. And now the Cards 9 of 10 on third down. And there's a man down right at the 25-yard line. It is Smith after the catch. Let's check in with Kevin in the studio.
Anish, your Capital One rewarding performance. Ram tough. Acho, Todd Centeo, 9 yards. Colorado State's tied this game.
Yeah, you love the play design. All the receivers run out-breaking routes. The center blocks to the left, and then there's a touchdown.
7-7 Rams and Hawkeyes.
Trainer still attending to Braden Smith here.
Anish, we mentioned the 4-minute offense right now for Louisville, trying to grind out this clock at the end of the half. Florida State gets the ball at the second half. So as an offense, the last thing you want to do is give them an opportunity to do that old New England Patriots trick, to double dip, get one before the half, and then swing the momentum of this game. So you take the air out of the football a little bit, you slow down the pace here, use all of the play clock getting up to the line of scrimmage, and then you have to go out there and execute. And so far, that's been the difference for this team.
Smith, 4 catches, 32 yards in this first half, and his leg bent awkwardly after that catch. This is a wide receiving group where there are not a lot of proven playmakers. Remember, Des Fitzpatrick and Tutu Atwell are gone. And Braden Smith was one of the guys Louisville thought would have a bigger role this season. You can't understate his loss right now to this offense.
No, we've seen him make some dynamic plays already today. We mentioned he's been the guy they use on some of these gadget plays here. And for a young team overall, only a sophomore here, one of the young and talented guys on this roster that they want to see continue to develop here. There's a big premium from this Louisville staff wanting to get their young players more key experience in these games.
On 1st and 10, the give is to Berkeley. And he is taken down at the 21, a gain of 3. DJ Lundy the stop.
Florida
And a
State takes
timeout.
its first timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Florida State may be thinking along with you, if we can get a stop, there is a chance to double dip.
Exactly. Try and give yourself an opportunity here. You've got all 3 timeouts here. See if you can hold them like your defense has done before on a short field and try and get some momentum heading into the half.
Kevin Connors, what do you got?
Anish coming up on the Geico halftime report. So who exactly is the best team in the ACC? We'll check in on Clemson with a road test today, plus 41 points for Notre Dame on a so-so day offensively. We'll show you how they did that. And one of the biggest upsets in college football in almost a decade. Coming up on the Geico halftime report, Anish, the Red Sox are on the board.
See, that's why he's my guy. And by the way, he brings up 41 for Notre Dame. My partner's got a smile as wide as this Florida panhandle.
I don't know what you're talking about, Anish. Totally even-keeled up here in the booth. Definitely not surprised at all. The Drew Pine show in the second half, the combo of him and Jack Cohn getting it done for the Irish in a game that did not look like it would include that much offense in the first half.
1:54 to go, 2nd and 7 Louisville. Berkeley in the backfield. Cunningham throwing. He's got Watkins. Slipping a tackle in for 6. And the Boo Birds get louder.
An uncomfortable moment in here, but the confidence in your quarterback, Malik Cunningham, down here to execute. The windows shrink in this area of the field. And like we said, you've been trying to run that clock down. Florida State starts using timeouts. You said, we're going to trust our playmakers to make plays.
(31-7) Louisville. Tonight on the ACC network, it's Georgia Tech taking on number 21 North Carolina. ACC primetime game. If you don't have ACC network, go to ACCN.com for instant access. Georgia Tech a week ago pushing Clemson all the way to the brink. Tigers looking to find their offense today against NC State. Louisville all over Florida State, 31-7. Got a Seminoles team that's 0-3 for the first time since 1976, trying to avoid their first 0-4 start since '74. We've seen Florida State comebacks in this rivalry the last 6-7 years, but boy, the way things have gone, it seems everything is spiraling out of control for Florida State.
And the toughest part for that sideline right now is you've cleaned up a lot of the mistakes. Penalties haven't been as big of an issue. You've taken better care of the football here, but you haven't been able to make a lot of the plays that we're accustomed to either. You credit Louisville on the other side for limiting, especially from that defense, the splash plays that have defined Florida State so far this season.
Yeah, Louisville's a great example of how you can flip an entire season. We saw last week's win against UCF, and the coaches told us that's a win that can propel you the rest of the way into conference play. The carryover has been evident. Louisville in this first half, 5 drives, 4 touchdowns, and a field goal.
And I don't think you can understate what you also mentioned before, Anish, 3 games in 12 days, finally being able to have a normal schedule going into a game this week, to get back out there, get in pads, and go through your normal routine. We're creatures of habit. We're not difficult to figure out. And so when you're constantly having to shorten your preparation time, take care of your body in a different way, those things can add up, and we're seeing the complete opposite of that now that they're back on a more manageable schedule.
And defensively, they did a great job holding Dylan Gabriel and the UCF passing attack in check last week. The defensive energy and prowess has carried over into Tallahassee.
UCF came into that game averaging 622 yards a game. They held them over 200 yards below that average. It's a disciplined outfit that works together, as we see the penalty here.
False start. Offense number 7. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Jordan Travis, who had rotated at quarterback with McKenzie Milton this season, not available. Chubba Purdy is the number 2 quarterback today, as Milton drops back to throw over the middle, and that is complete near the 40-yard line. It's Ontario Wilson. You got to wonder if this game continues down this path, if we see Purdy in the second half.
I think you're going to have to try and get him some reps at some point here. You respect what McKenzie Milton has battled through, and he's in a 2-minute drill right now. He's got 2 timeouts. There's a chance to get points heading into the locker room.
Milton gets rid of that one.
But if it continues to trend this way, you owe it to the rest of your team to see if you can get a spark from the backup.
Andrew Parchment, the Kansas transfer. Florida State quickly into Louisville territory. Less than 90 seconds to go. Milton pumps. Low throw, incomplete in the direction of Parchment.
But again, there's no need to panic here. 2nd and 10, 2 timeouts, 1:22, and you're operating on the other side of the 50 here. You're in a perfect situation here, and your protection plan is holding up right now. You've seen the backs and tight ends working to help out here, as we're seeing, unfortunately.
That's Braden Smith. Louisville showing pressure. They bring it. Milton got rid of it with some feathery touch. It's Corbin. When he releases the ball in 2 seconds or less, the coaches say he still has old McKenzie in him.
It's like he's got to be under duress for it to work. You saw the overload blitz come from the field, and he just calmly moves away from it.
Into coverage, completion, touchdown. Parchment papers into the end zone.
The most encouraging sign for this coaching staff is that your message is clearly taking hold. That was a gut punch down on the other end of that field.
100%.
You've seen long, sustained drives by Louisville, and your quarterback went out there under 2 minutes and put together a 2-minute drive where, again, you get the ball to start the second half with a chance to will yourself back into this game.
Wasn't even a 1-minute drive. 5 plays, 75 yards in 41 seconds. But the extra point is no good, and there is your microcosm of the season for the Seminoles.
It is 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but this is a big step forward here. And again, McKenzie Milton under pressure before. This time, 3-man rush. He's throwing it over 2 guys there, and we've seen him miss high, miss low. He finally puts the ball on an accurate target, and this is what we've talked about. You've had the other 10 players being able to execute at a high level, and this time just breaks it in and puts the ball where only his guy can get it.
This is a Florida State team where they're searching for an alpha in that receiving unit. The coaches said true freshman Malik McClain needs to be one of those guys. The other, the Kansas transfer Andrew Parchment.
They wanted to see more consistency out of him. He's a 6th-year guy. He's played a lot of football, gotten a lot of reps under his belt. But he's also adjusting to a new offense, adjusting to a different place, and he's been playing for 2 quarterbacks. And again, we talk about that effect for 1 quarterback is felt by the receivers as well.
Now, if you're Florida State, defensively, you haven't stopped Louisville. The Cards still have 2 timeouts. There's still 1:08 to go.
Have to imagine they're going to try and see if they can pop a run here early, depending on where they start off. And then from there, try and get this going. 2 timeouts left. Plenty of field to work with, potentially.
The speedy Jordan Watkins, the deep man. From the 3. Has the 20. And pinballs his way to the 30. This season, along with their contributions to universities' general scholarship funds, for every field goal and extra point made, Allstate will also be donating to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts. Thank you, Allstate. This drive, in a lot of ways, feels like it will tell us if we have a game in the second half.
This defense is going to have to get a rush, because on the other side, what have we seen a lot of lately? Malik Cunningham in empty sets here. 5 wide receivers, because he's making great decisions right now. And this gives him the opportunity, especially to start this drive. If you get space, if you get prevent defense, take off and run, move the chains for your team. It stops the clock in college football, and now you can start to get a drive going here, although they appear to be going out with a little more run-heavy set here. Makes you wonder if they might just see if they can pop one to start.
Cunningham pumps, completes. Big gainer across the 45-yard line. It's Watkins for 15. The first down momentarily stops the clock. Louisville's got its 2 timeouts. Clean pocket. No, not that clean. Jermaine Johnson, the sack. Number 6 on the season. And a timeout.
That's your 5th-year senior grad transfer going up against a freshman left tackle in Michael Gonzalez.
30-second timeout.
That's a tough one-on-one matchup to expect your guy to win, but we talked about it. These guys have been quiet all day, so now, obvious passing situation, finally they get to turn it loose.
It makes you think, how good is Georgia's defensive front that Jermaine Johnson could not crack their starting lineup?
Terrifying. You see the violent hands on that play, the unrelenting motor. But you're right, Anish, the embarrassment of riches down there. I think the most 5 stars ever on a single team. They've got something like 8 guys on the Senior Bowl watch list. It's what Kirby's built down there is a juggernaut, but the depth of recruiting shown here.
Louisville now with 1 timeout. Still time, 48 seconds. So what are you looking to do here? 2nd and 17. You've got the ball just shy of your own 40.
I say you keep giving your quarterback opportunities to push it downfield. He's earned the right to say we trust him in these middle of the area of the field throws. Try and aim towards the sideline, get up there, and live to play another down.
Cunningham, 17 of 23. 2 touchdowns through the air, 2 on the ground. On 2nd and long. Toward the sideline, caught. It's Marshawn Ford, and he's close to midfield. He gets 10 back. It sets up 3rd and 7, and it stops the clock.
Stops the clock again. You give your quarterback information before the snap. The motion goes across. No one runs. So he says, I've got zone coverage. Let me look for my tight end streaking in the middle of that. And you're in another 3rd and medium now here. All of that's on the table. And the middle of the field still open. 44 seconds. It'll stop the clock. And you've got a timeout.
Cunningham over the middle, incomplete for Johnson. He was open. He led him by a little too much, and it's 4th down.
One of the first true errant throws we've seen from Malik Cunningham this afternoon, who's been very dialed in from the pocket. But a credit to Florida State's defense. Their offense goes out, scores in the 2-minute drill, and we get a sack from Jermaine Johnson finally in this game. And they hold him on 3rd down.
First punt of the game for Mark Vassett, 24-year-old former construction worker from Australia, and a 24-year-old freshman. The speedy Keyshawn Helton waits at his 14. He'll let it bounce. A touchback after a 51-yard kick. Monday Night Football, Eagles and Cowboys, big early season matchup in the NFC East. You can watch on ESPN, or you can hang with Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Intriguing quarterback matchup, Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott.
Dak's been dialed in his first home game back in Dallas in front of those fans, getting to come back with his ankle feeling better, shiny new contract, and an Eagles team that's looked really consistent so far to start this year. Credit Nick Sirianni and that staff. They've game planned really well around some of the physical limitations of their quarterback.
2 timeouts for Florida State, 31 seconds to go.
Number 1 directive, take care of the football. You get it to start the second half.
Milton has an open receiver. It's complete. A first down. There's Parchment again for 19. Gets out of bounds. Stops the clock with 25 seconds.
Those 2 timeouts sitting in your pocket. They are in a great spot.
Milton in a groove. Moving the pocket. Flings it away. 18 seconds left. 2 timeouts, so the middle of the field is open.
Wide open here, and again, the only thing you want to avoid is some sort of back-breaking turnover here. But we know Louisville's going to play off. They're going to try and avoid catastrophe here. And you see, you've got 2 high safeties for the Cardinals right now, which means you can get something wide open, something breaking in from Parchment, who's singled up on the bottom of the formation.
Florida State probably needs to get inside the 40 for a field goal attempt. Milton stumbles, turf monster. And a timeout by Florida State, 12 seconds to go.
Second timeout of the half. It'll be 30 seconds in length.
Brutal break for a quarterback we'd seen. Finally looking comfortable, turning it loose in the pocket. But you mentioned a lot of that's been when it's on time. But we see right here, no one around him and nothing to worry about. But who among us hasn't fallen victim to the turf monster?
You watch McKenzie Milton, and you feel for him in the respect that, from what the coaches told us, it bothers him that, yes, he's not yet the same guy he was 3 years ago. You zoom out, the fact that he's even playing football is one of the great redemption songs we have seen in recent memory in college football.
But it's just a testament to the athlete mindset. Anish, is you get back through all that, and now he's playing football again. Now he expects to be that guy because he's back in a comfort zone. And it's just the weird way that athletes are wired, and it's part of why I think he's able to get back to this point.
Louisville playing well off the receivers. They'll drop 8, little check down. It's Ward. And he's gobbled up at the 41-yard line. 2 seconds, 1 second. And time expires in the first half. Oh, Mike Norvell is saying he called a timeout. Hang on. We have the halftime music ready to roll.
Clock to 3 seconds. 0-0-3. Thank you.
Mike Norvell did get that final timeout. Florida State, the 41-yard line. Now the stadium clock went down to 0, and Mike Norvell was on the sideline. Hey, timeout, timeout. So they've added 3 seconds. And this is where you dig deep into that playbook.
It looks like we've got specialists out near the field. I'm not seeing the offense huddled up by their field there on the sideline.
It's 4th and 8. I guess Louisville called the timeout.
Unsure on that one why Louisville would choose to burn this thing before the half here. You thought maybe if, I guess, try and make them punt here in this situation and see if you can break a return before the half.
Florida State takes its final timeout of the half. A full timeout.
So Louisville called a timeout. Now Florida State called a timeout. Yep. If you're Louisville, listen, if you think they're going to punt, make them call one more play. Maybe disaster happens. If you're Florida State here, 3 seconds, I'm sure you go back, you kneel down when that clock hits 0, and you get into the locker room clean.
Exactly. So from Louisville's side, you could probably expect something in the all-out range to try and see if you can put a little pressure on him. But this is one of those scenarios you run through in training camp, you run through in Friday practices here. End of a half, we want to take a knee and run out the clock here. Do whatever you have to keep the defender from getting to the punter, who's going to try and run around and open this up.
I would imagine you bring Milton back out, and it may be a negative play in the scorebook, but you avoid a disastrous play. The offense will come back out. Is there a part of you that wants to try something?
I don't think Milton has the arm for it. It could be a little pitchy woo-woo like our friend Scott Van Pelt always enjoys.
Milton will heave it out of bounds. It is the highest scoring first half of the season for Louisville. Building off that Friday win against UCF. The Cards up 31-13. Now to Kevin in the studio for the halftime report.
Welcome to the Geico Halftime Report.
Louisville had 6 offensive drives in that first half, scored on 5 of them. Florida State got a late touchdown. They will receive to begin this third quarter. Let's take a closer look at the offensive line for Florida State with pocket protection, brought to you by Nationwide.
Yeah, we're going to give some love to the Cards up front, because we came into this game talking about Jermaine Johnson, came into this game talking about Keir Thomas, and instead what we've seen is a Louisville offensive front that has limited them to just 1 sack, only a couple of tackles for loss. This is a team on Florida State's defense that came into this averaging 8.3 TFLs per game. I've been so impressed by the identity that they want for this team. The Cards want to be built up front, and so far so good from that unit on offense.
Florida State found success with tempo late in that first half. Let's see if they utilize it here. Obviously, you need to move the chains to do so. McKenzie Milton to the air. Contested throw, incomplete at the 40-yard line. Broken up by the All-ACC corner, Trey Clark. The freshman McLean, the target.
Trey Clark, who led the ACC with 10 passes broken up in 2020. This is what I'm curious about for Louisville's defense. McKenzie Milton got going when you heated him up. When he was forced to make quick decisions and cut it loose, he went. You saw pressure there. I'd drop 8 and say, make him throw into some tight windows. Make him think about this more.
On the ground, this is Corbin. Into the open, cuts it back. Nobody in front. Jashaun Corbin hits a foot race, and he wins it. They're not dead yet.
We always hear this from Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Win the middle 8. Going into the halftime locker room and coming out in the second half. Florida State did not start this game fast. They let themselves get into an early hole, but what they did was they finished strong, and now we've got the lonesome polecat out here trying to see if they can confuse Louisville on defense and get an easy 2-point conversion before they bring them back in for the kick.
That was just Corbin's 3rd rushing attempt of the game, and now listen, you can say, why did he only have 3? Busts one loose for 75, and Fitzgerald's kick is good. You talked about the double dip. Score before halftime, which Florida State did. They finally got a stop. They get the opening kick of the 3rd quarter. Couple of plays in, it's Corbin to the house.
And we saw edge pressure coming from the second level by Louisville both of those times. And so what's it do? It speeds up McKenzie Milton where he's made better decisions. But for Corbin right here, it allows the offensive line to cut off that backside here. So now you've got fewer bodies at that second level. And if you break through that hole, we've seen Corbin's got more than enough explosive speed in the open field to get this done.
The strength of this offense, the 2 running backs, Corbin and Trayshawn Ward. I think as this game is now a 2-score game, we will see more of those 2 in the second half. Florida State did not really commit much to the run in the first half.
Well, you mentioned a lot of that was game flow, too. You got behind the chains early, you got down early, and so you felt like you had to pass yourself back into this game here. Now it's an 11-point ball game. Now you can settle in, but you need your defense to come and continue. This has been great complementary football from unit to unit by Florida State. You got to keep it rolling if you want this comeback.
Not everybody stuck around after halftime, but certainly a jolt for those who did. Down to Taylor.
Well, guys.
We apologize for the technical difficulties. We'll get back to Taylor. Louisville with a 31-20 lead on Florida State. We told you in the first half, 6 possessions, 5 scores, 4 touchdowns for the Cardinals. Malik Cunningham, when you turned on the tape, you're seeing something today and last week that you didn't see in a lot of the tape you watched on him.
Poise, patience, and accuracy for Malik Cunningham in this intermediate passing game. And now as you see the crowd back on their side, we haven't seen him go deep in a while. It's time for another shot here soon.
Instead, it's Jalen Mitchell on the cutback, and he's able to pick up 5.
They started off this game, the touchdown to Tyler Harrell, streaking down the field here. And since then, they've allowed Malik to make these decisions in the middle of the field. I know you want to establish the run to take the heat off of these great edge rushers for Florida State. But if you get a look like this, where they start to commit down for that run, you've got to go over the top on them.
On the ground again. And pinballing for a first down is Mitchell. One note for Florida State, they do get a player back in this second half. That's Sidney Williams, number 23, their starting safety. He was suspended for the first half due to a targeting call last week. Not out there on the field right now, but is available. On the ground again. And Mitchell ambushed for a big loss. Keir Thomas and Robert Cooper combine on the TFL, which has been this defense's forte.
The calling card for this group, and right now, a group that's banged up in the middle. That's where I expected Louisville to have an advantage. No Fabian Lovett for them on the field today. Dennis Briggs, their other great defensive tackle, a converted end, went down with an injury in the first half here, so they're a little bit thinner in the middle of this defensive line.
On second and long, the screen, batted down by Thomas. He knew he almost had it, and if he did, that's a pick 6.
Tried to look that one in over the shoulder right there. He was going for the SportsCenter top 10 play. But this is the group you needed to come alive. Watch 4. He reads the play, and then he puts his hands up and just can't hang on. He sees the moment, but now he's got another one right here. 3rd and a mile. You get to pin your ears back, send your 4 rushers up front. As you've got Keir Thomas standing up in the middle, he's going to get a matchup in the interior.
3-man pressure. Cunningham will try to run for it. Across the 40. And out of bounds, well shy of the marker, driven out by Renardo Green. Louisville has to punt, and the pendulum has swung.
They're waiting a long time to make this decision. But ultimately, you see the punt team formulating on the sideline. It would have been attempting a niche, but this is a spot where you're going to see them content to trust their defense, try and make FSU prove they can do it twice.
You can hear it from the crowd. The last 2 scores unanswered by Florida State. Momentum has swung to the Noles. Helton waits at his own 15. The Australian Vassett sends it away. From the 11, and Helton hit immediately. No return on a 44-yard punt. Florida State will start at its own 10. Down 11. Jashaun Ward is the running back. Louisville's been burnt, bringing pressure. Let's see if they play it a little more conservatively. On eye candy, the give is to Ward. Look at the vision. Bounces to the outside. And a first down run by Jashaun Ward, a gain of 12.
Starting to get a little bit of confidence in this running game. We talked about so much of the counters, the pulling, getting offensive linemen moving in space. Now it's been a little bit more zone blocking here, giving these running backs a chance for these cutbacks. We know they want to use multiple tight ends, try and lengthen the backside so you can get more plays like that.
Ward, a former walk-on, put on scholarship last spring, and burrows his way to the 25-yard line, a pickup of 2. In Corbin and Ward, the two primary running backs, two guys who average around 7 yards a carry. Ward came into this game at 6.8. Corbin came in at 7.6.
Everyone remembers Corbin, the 89-yard run.
Yeah.
5th longest in Florida State history against Notre Dame.
Milton lofts it downfield, and it's incomplete for McDonald, who tried to bring it in with one hand. And Milton says, that's on me.
Great job by Greedy Vance, the freshman, though, at corner. Just staying with him, not going into his body, not getting flagged for any penalty on the play. Runs stride for stride right in his lap.
3rd and 7. Does Louisville bring pressure here?
No, I'm dropping 8. I don't want to speed up McKenzie Milton's clock. That's where he's been the best.
Now they're showing pressure. And now they'll back off. 4-man twist. Milton will try to run. Trying to get to the outside, shy of the marker. Kendrick Duncan, leading tackler through the first few games for Louisville, makes the stop, and it's 4th down.
That more the right idea for the Cards on defense. You go with the simulated pressure, bring guys up, make McKenzie think he's going to have to get rid of this quick, and then you back out and end up only rushing 4 here, but you get some better lanes, better opportunities because you've drawn the eyes of the offensive line.
That's where you miss Jordan Travis, who's not available today. The ability to make plays with your feet.
Yes, we know McKenzie limited in that area. We like his ability in the pocket, but there's no doubt extra yards left on the table without 13.
Mastromano to send it away to Johnson. Fair catch called for and made by Josh Johnson inside his 30 after a 42-yard kick. Career, the late Bobby Bowden, and then Jimbo Fisher delivered a national championship in 2013. But since Fisher's final season, it's been instability. Willie Taggart lasted 2 seasons, just 9-12. Mike Norvell 3-9 through his first season plus. The athletic director earlier this week did say Norvell is the guy. He's got a top 10 recruiting class. The reality is they are 0-3, and this is a place where for a generation, at worst you were a top 25 team, most years you were a championship contender. Berkeley gets the call, not much. Now, this was the athletic director, his quote: on football, I have just 3 things to say. 1, we have the right guy. 2, we will improve. And 3, we will win. Now, some of it is on Norvell. You can go back to the scheme at the end of the Jacksonville State game. Some of it has been personnel and injury-related. Offensive line issues predate Mike Norvell's tenure.
They do. That foundation of this team has had difficulty for years now, so that is not just a Mike Norvell problem, but it's the chief area they need to fix. And when you talk about recruiting, that's the lifeblood, as we see a tough catch made on the sideline there by Tyler Harrell. We'll see if he managed to hang on to this.
I don't know if that's a catch. Did he complete that? Again, the ball can hit the ground. You just cannot use the ground to secure the football. So the question is, was the ball secure when he hits the ground? They will look at this. The call on the field was a catch. We'll be back with the verdict. Incomplete pass. 3rd and 9. Florida State bringing pressure. Cunningham takes off. Flag down. First down and more. Cunningham is off to the races. There is a flag back at the 30. Malik Cunningham may have run a long way for naught.
It's like being a kick returner and turning around and seeing the laundry.
Holding. Offense number 66. The 10-yard penalty. Third down.
As an O-lineman, is that one post-game you go up to your quarterback and say, I owe you the next meal?
Oh, you don't wait till post-game. He's going to get him right on the way back to the huddle here. Just a backbreaker. We haven't seen but maybe 1 or 2 other draws in this game for a quarterback this potent. And that time, you get the light box. You got 2 high safeties, 5 guys down there with a chance to go and make this happen. But watch 66 at the end of this play, locked up with Kier Thomas, and he holds on just a little bit too long as he falls away there.
Well, the hold was the reason Cunningham had the opening. The play that was overturned, the officials ruled that Harrell did not survive the ground. If you watch, it looks like he hauls it in, hits the ground, the ball changes arms.
Dead giveaway, great call and overturn, and another long 3rd down for Louisville.
8 of 11 on 3rd down. They'll try the draw, the ball comes out. Florida State says they have it. Louisville, though, retains possession. It's 4th down, and the Cardinals will punt. So, defensively, Florida State now has forced 3 consecutive punts after Louisville scored on its first 5 drives.
Louisville's play calling on 1st and 2nd downs become too predictable. And I don't know why they've taken the game out of Malik Cunningham's hands. He was throwing it so well early. That intermediate passing game was hitting for you. Now you've been rushing on 1st and 2nd down into a wall of Florida State defenders.
Bassett to kick. Helton waits near his own 40. This will chase him back. He lets it bounce. Inside the 10, rolling inside the 5. Bassett flips the field with a 72-yard punt.
And Anish, that's on the return man here. Keyshawn Helton misread that. He saw low flight angle for the ball, and he ran way up. This thing went right back over him, and you saw the yards after the roll on that. So him not reading that the correct way cost that team. You hear special teams coaches yelling all the time, hidden yardage. That's right there in the game in plain sight.
Akin to a outfielder in baseball on a line drive. You take that first step in, and the ball gets over your head.
Not saying it's not extremely difficult as someone who caught pre-practice fair catch balls practicing for the kickoff return shield, I can tell you that.
Seminoles backed up inside their own 5. Milton pumps. Downfield for Wilson, covered well. That's Trey Clark again in coverage. Actually, Parchment was the target. Kevin in studio.
Time for our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update. Iowa was down to Colorado State, Acho, but here comes Spencer Petras and the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Iowa's returning. That pump fake by Petras, it sold the safety. Middle of the field is wide open. Touchdown.
Sam Laporta hauls it in. The Hawkeyes up 7.
I'm enjoying this topsy-turvy year in college football where everybody's vulnerable.
3 words, Anish, Hawkeye pride.
There's Corbin. And that gives Florida State breathing room, a gain of 15. And he's closing in on his 3rd 100-yard game of the season. Came in averaging better than 7.5.
Watch Dorian Jones, number 44, the linebacker, in for Monty Montgomery. He ends up in the same gap as his defensive lineman there.
As McKenzie Milton is sacked by Yasir Abdullah, 3-year starter, former 4-star recruit, a lot of off-season buzz. They liked what he's brought to the table this year.
He's been really versatile for them. Against UCF, they actually put him down as one of the 3 D lineman bodies. They went a little lighter against that offense. His versatility up front in this 3-4 defense helps them so much. And that's a much-needed splash play for this defense that had been getting gashed a little bit this half.
3 sacks now by Louisville. Ward in at running back. 3-man pressure. Check down to Ward. Zigzags his way across the 15 and sets up a 3rd and long. And again, this is a spot where you've said it now a few times. You don't expect Louisville to bring pressure. They've been burned. You back it up.
Exactly. But what you've seen is them giving that defensive eye candy. Get guys up by the line of scrimmage, those kind of double A-gap, double mug looks. Where now, for me as an offensive lineman, I've got to honor that because the inside pass, the clearest path to the quarterback, here they're going to back off and make him throw in a tight window.
Trips to the field. Milton steps up. Nowhere to go. Out of bounds, and Florida State will punt.
That's more of the patience that I wanted from this Louisville defense there. Like we said, McKenzie's been great when he's been under pressure, gets the ball out quick. Here, you see everyone on the back end saying, we know where the sticks are. We're not going to give you that gap bending down because you're spreading out here. And then you brought it up before. Jordan Travis, more of the threat that you'd have guys selling out downhill for. Not the case for McKenzie.
Mastromano to kick it away. Josh Johnson waiting inside his 35. Fair catch called for and made. Down to Taylor.
Well, guys, at halftime, I asked Coach Norvell what he would like to see out of the quarterback situation. Is he going to play Chubba Purdy at all? And he said, no, QB play, not the problem. They're going to stick with McKenzie Milton. Really felt like their offense got into a rhythm at the end of the first, and that certainly carried over here at the beginning of the second. He said the problem is defensively trying to contain Malik Cunningham. He said we have got to create a pass rush, and we have to have win our one-on-ones on the perimeters.
At 31-7, do you put Chubba Purdy in is fair speculation. Now at 31-20, different story, different game. Getting pressure on Cunningham, also a different story.
And I want Louisville to give them that option here. Start mixing in some passes on first down. We've seen them so run heavy the last few series.
Cunningham will throw on first down. He's got Ford. 8 catches for 100 yards in the win against UCF, a career game. 7 more. 6 catches now on the game for Ford. Cunningham moving the pocket again. Johnson in his grill, and he's got to throw it away.
That's a great job by Cunningham getting it out there, but Jermaine Johnson, again, responding to the main threat there, flashing those hands up. We heard from Taylor earlier in the broadcast. He wants to treat him more like a runner. That time, going up and saying, I'm going to bother you. I'm not going to worry about what's going on behind me.
3rd and 3. Cunningham on the keeper. Can he get the edge? No, he can't. Jarvis Brownlee, the corner, with the big play. And a 4th straight empty possession for Louisville.
They have keyed in on Malik Cunningham, the runner, and that's a great job by everyone here, making him continue to have to bounce it outside, flattening him down the line there. That play was designed the entire way for Malik Cunningham. You watch Marshawn Ford coming in front of him here, and a lax job by Justin Marshall, the wide receiver there, not stalk blocking on that back end. You saw him get that initial hit and then let go here. That's less than the effort they're used to from these receivers.
Bassett sends it away. Helton, fair catch called for and made inside the 20. Kevin.
Anish, Devin Leary to Devin Carter has given NC State the lead on Clemson.
Yeah, good day for you if your name is Devin. I don't know about Kevin, but Devin's winning today.
Wolfpack in front by 7, Anish.
Wow, so this would be far and away the marquee win of the Dave Doran era, and it might just pull the pin on the ACC's hopes for a college football playoff berth.
Chaos reigns, the ACC Coastal becoming more of a lifestyle for all of college football this year.
That's the Atlantic Division.
You can go Coastal in the Atlantic.
That's starting to bleed over after no divisions last year. DJ Williams running with violence, picks up 8. An Auburn transfer who, as a true freshman, ran for 130 yards against eventual champion LSU.
You saw there this coaching staff, and Kenny Dillingham was with him at Auburn, said when he lowers his pads, he can deliver a hit.
Williams again, right up the gut, first down. He's the nephew of Edgerrin James. Was sick in the offseason, took him some time to get back into game shape. And this is his first game as a Seminole. Milton, the screen pass. Ja'Kai Douglas stopped in his tracks. Only a yard. Jack Fagot, the first to get there.
It's so interesting, Anish, watching the in-game adjustment from this staff. They've gotten by on so many of these gap runs, which work well against a 3-down front, but their running backs have responded to these inside zones, giving them options against this linebacker group.
And that's going to be a loss of 2. Williams on the carry, and a 3rd and 11 upcoming.
And right as I say that, Yasir Abdullah comes in from the side, knifes into the backfield on an inside zone, and makes the play.
The best laid plans. Nothing placid about his running style.
No, that's violence in this backfield.
Ward in there on 3rd down. 3-man rush. Louisville drops 8. Milton into coverage. Threads the needle for a first down. Ontario Wilson, a gain of 17.
And you see some juice from Ontario Wilson. That time, too high safety look, middle of the field's open. You get Wilson coming in, that stacked look to get him clear, and then sits down in the hole for his quarterback.
Milton back to the outside. It's Wilson again. Out of bounds inside the Louisville 45. Now, there's still flashes. We saw it late against Notre Dame when McKenzie Milton reminds you, hey, he was a top 10 vote getter in the Heisman Trophy voting 2 years in a row.
Came into this season 5th nationally among active quarterbacks with over 8,900 passing yards.
Back to Wilson. 3 straight plays, and Amtrak's across the 40. It'll set up a 3rd and 2.
And this is a great time, Anish. You've got 4-down territory here now. You can try and pop your running back on another one of these runs up the middle. You've got them stressed about these perimeter passes. Let your running back try and break one.
Up the middle, first down, Florida State. And the offensive line enters the chat.
They're saying, put it on me right now. We talked about how much they've had to rotate here, having Bavion Johnson, Devontae Love-Taylor, who is the leader of this group, the heart and soul at right guard, running right behind the guys you trust up front back in that lineup.
They got Robert Scott back. They hope to get Maurice Smith back next week. And Ward again. And right now, Florida State doing something we haven't seen a whole lot of. Exerting its physical will on the defense.
Honestly, Anish, they're doing their best Wake Forest impression right now. Wake Forest offense wants to get on you and just hold and let the running backs make you bend, and that's what Florida State's got up front right now.
Ward into the teeth of the defense, not much. And it'll bring up 3rd down as we come up on 30 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter.
And Anish, just quickly what I mean on that, there's not a lot of movement vertically for this team, but they're staying on blocks, and these running backs can lean in one direction, make the defenders try and peek, and then let them gain space.
Helpful hardware, folks. I'm coming in fast. First place, you coming in last.
You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Sling TV. It was 31-7. Louisville at one point. A 2-score game. Florida State inside the Cardinal 30. 3rd and 5 as we begin the fourth quarter. McKenzie Milton to the air, dropped by Corbin. Fourth down coming up. And I would imagine you try a field goal here to make it a one-possession game. Fitzgerald, who hit from 53 against Jacksonville State, will trot on. Rosenberry to snap, Mastromano to hold. A 47-yarder. No good.
That is not crushing, not by any means the end here, but what a bit of air and a bit of wind out of your sails. It had been riding since that last drive of the first half for this Florida State offense, and now to come away without points there, Louisville's got an opportunity.
Now, they have had their heart ripped out a few times this season. In the opener, the Sunday before Labor Day, an overtime loss to Notre Dame. The following week against FCS Jacksonville State. This was the play where Jack State beat Florida State, a walk-off, and then disaster last week in Winston-Salem. 6 turnovers, a number of costly penalties, struggles on third down, all equated to an 0-3 start. First time since 1976 for Florida State. Malik Cunningham will throw. He's got Josh Johnson, who picks up about 7 on first down.
And think about what they've survived tonight. Down 17-0 in the first quarter, outgained 150-47 to battle back. Credit to this team. They have taken the energy from Mike Norvell and this coaching staff, and they have not broken. A lesser team and a mentally weaker team would have broken by now.
Still plenty of time. And this defense has answered the call since the end of the first half. We told you Louisville scored on each of its first 5 drives. Nothing since.
I'm surprised you've seen the Louisville offense turtle as much as it has. Go big in here. You were spreading them out and letting your quarterback go to work here. Florida State's playing man coverage. They're rolling guys down. They're going to make them one-dimensional.
After starting 8 of 9 on third down, Louisville 0 for its last 4. Johnson motions. Cunningham a threat to run here as well. He'll sling it, low throw. Watkins unable to hang on. And it's 4th down. Florida State will get it back.
Florida State's gone back. They went man coverage on that drive, and we said, we're going to make life difficult for you. Try and tighten up some of these windows here. Just enough to bother Malik Cunningham. And for this Louisville offense, the failure to execute now in those critical areas, again, because I think your quarterback's out of rhythm. You started thinking this game was getting put away much earlier than it had been.
Keyshawn Helton had a special teams miscue that resulted in a 72-yard punt by Vassett. He's back deep. Short kick. And did that land out of bounds? Close to the sideline. They'll spot it right at the 25.
The challenge for the line this week was try to find an edge. So they all watched last year's Louisville game together. He said, we will not let them beat us with anything that they showed us last year.
Mike Norvell told us his team's learned some painful lessons as Ward gets the call on the sweep. And stood up after a gain of 9. Mike Norvell telling us, hey, I don't think that we're that far off. First 2 games could have gone their way. You could also make the case that you should never have been in that spot against Jacksonville State. But he said his team has to learn how to win. Corbin. First down.
And going off what Taylor just told us about finding that little extra edge for this offensive line that's played really well today. We used to watch film as a team. My senior year, the whole 5 offensive linemen for a half hour after practice, and you're looking for one little thing. We found once a player, a DN, when he put 2 hands down instead of 1, we knew we were getting a specific game from them. And it sounds like such a little thing, but those are the reasons you have a Florida State offensive line that's been able to come alive in this second half, because I'm sure of something they found.
Milton under pressure and taken down. Yasir Abdullah with his second sack. Four sacks now for Louisville today.
We talked about the versatility of Yasir Abdullah, and that time you see 52 Robert Scott, his eyes get drawn a little bit inside. You've got that rusher in the middle, and a split second if you put your eyes in the wrong place here. Now Yasir Abdullah's got that extra step on you to the quarterback.
Scott returning from injury on the O-line this week. Still no Maurice Smith. Davion Johnson starting at center, and he got banged up last week. Milton stands in there. Broken up, incomplete. Greedy Vance, the freshman. Kevin Connors, what do you got?
Well, at East, Georgia State up 24-12 on Auburn, but Acho Colby Wooden makes a special teams play.
Yeah, another punt block. This is what get teams back in the game. Colby Wooden with the block. Then we got the recovery. It's a 1-score game.
Barton Lester jumped on it, Anish.
Clemson, NC State in a dogfight over in Raleigh. There's no sport that yo-yos with your emotions on a weekly basis as much as college football. 3rd and 15, Milton flushed. Was that hauled in? Incomplete. They wanted Parchment, and it's 4th down.
Parchment trying to argue that he stuck his feet in bounds before the end of that catch.
That's awfully close. That left foot, was that in? Was that on the grass? Hard to tell from that angle.
I'm surprised they're not taking another look at this right now.
That is at least worth a replay review.
And you see that Florida State sideline clamoring for it.
Ruling on the field, incomplete pass. While they review, we step aside. Your own 43-yard line, the offense comes back out on the field. I was going to ask you, what's the decision here? The decision seems to be to go for it, or at least try to get the defense to jump off sides.
I'm always a fan of being the aggressor, so I enjoy this in this situation, but that's a long 3 yards.
Direct snap. Corbin tackled in the backfield. Yasir Abdullah again with the TFL, and Louisville takes over on downs.
And they went for the trickeration. Your offensive line had been doing so well blocking straight up. Credit Yasir Abdullah with the awareness, but watch here. McKenzie Milton's going to do a little acting like he's looking at the sideline, and they direct snap to Jashaun Corbin.
That highlights a problem for Florida State that we touched on. Running the ball up the middle in those A-gaps.
And really having to execute under pressure in that spot on a play that's designed to be a gotcha here. The O-line's been executing well on time, but when you mix in stuff like that here, now you're not teeing off in a normal down and distance when you're set and prepared, and this group seems to respond a lot better when you slow down the pace.
If you're Louisville, the last 4 drives, 31 yards, 4 punts. Do you take a shot?
Absolutely. Try and put this game away.
Cunningham off play action. Downfield. Nobody home. And Cunningham took a big hit back at his own 44-yard line. Johnson was one of the 2 in the backfield along with Briggs. West Virginia, Oklahoma tonight, 7:30 on ABC. You got to remember, one big loss, Braden Smith carted off the field. A big part of Louisville's receiving game. The offense has not been the same since.
No, that was his target in the middle of the field.
Previous play is under further review.
Now they're going to look at the previous play, and the only thing I can think of here is, could this be targeting? Targeting can be called for from the replay booth. Cunningham is defenseless. Nothing there constitutes forcible contact.
Exactly. Shoulder into the chest, play on and second down here.
And it's Jalen Mitchell, engulfed in the backfield by Jamie Robinson. And it brings up 3rd and long. This changes the equation for the drive. 2nd and 10. If you pick up positive yards, you could perhaps treat this as 4-down territory.
I thought we were absolutely going to call this with 4 downs in mind. But now with 3rd and a mile here, changes the equation a bit. I'd be looking back at Marshawn Ford here, his target, the middle of the 3 receivers down here at the bottom. He's been his go-to in key situations all game.
Had big catches last week as well against UCF. Five-man pressure. Cunningham completes inside the 40. And now a decision after that gain of about 11 for Scott Satterfield's team.
I think you're still going for it here. You keep the offense on field. This has been the area where you've had the most success. You see, they're going to try and get up with a little pace right now. Catch Florida State substituting. And let Malik Cunningham win this through the air.
They need 4. Cunningham throws. Josh Johnson, nowhere to go. Brownlee got there first and closed the drawbridge.
What a massive play. We've seen Brownlee now on a couple of these, spreading things out. Louisville's been too horizontal here. They do a good job. Jermaine Johnson stringing it out. And then they are winning the one-on-one matchups with these receivers on the edge of the play.
Let's check in with a studio update from Kevin.
Yeah, Anish, Clemson has tied it in Raleigh behind DJ and Will Shipley.
Yeah, DJ had a great long run before this, but offensively, Clemson is still struggling. 14-14, tied with just a few minutes left.
Anish.
Now Florida State, another lifeline. Corbin had a 75-yard run earlier and accelerates into Louisville territory. Give him 33 more.
Anish, we said the next touchdown either way could decide this game, and Florida State leaning on their backs to make good decisions, running right up the gut.
Corbin once more. And it's driven back. Tavarius Peterson led the Louisville charge, a gain of 2. 8 rushes, 135 for Jashaun Corbin.
Louisville's getting a little gassed up front. You saw them run 3 new bodies up front for that defensive line. They're trying to stay fresh because they've been getting beat right up the gut this second half.
On second down, not much there. That was Ward. He'll lose a yard. It's 3rd and 9. And that defensive line depth really shone through in the UCF win. The coaches credited the depth on the D-line as a big part of their success in the 4th quarter. We have an injury on the field for Louisville. We'll step aside. 3rd down.
Florida. And in part by USAA Insurance, auto renters and home insurance.
The injured Louisville player before we went to break was Yasir Abdullah. 2 sacks, 3 TFLs today. 3rd and 10. Empty look. Milton on the run. Downfield, incomplete in the direction of McLean. It's 4th down, and here's the dilemma now for Florida State. Fitzgerald comes on. He's missed a field goal. He's missed an extra point. He's left 4 on the board today as Abdullah gets attended to. Monty Montgomery, one of their stars defensively, out for the season, hurt last week. You can't understate the loss to that Louisville defense.
He's been living in Florida State's backfield all day. He stepped up when they needed him the most. Could be huge if he's down for significant time here.
A 45-yarder from Fitzgerald. And this kick is good. He makes it a 1-possession game with 8:40 to go in regulation. What do you got?
Anish, good one in Tallahassee, good one in Auburn as well. LSU transfer TJ Finley is in now at quarterback, Acho, after Bo Nix was knocked out. What did you see?
Yeah, this is a big hit. Obviously, Bo Nix takes a hard fall. Looks like he got the wing knocked out of him, but it's still up in the air. We don't know.
Georgia State, a 24-19 lead. This game playing out right now over on the SEC network. Anish and Golan.
Love college football, don't you?
College football through the month of September generally tends to be one of the more insane roller coaster rides that sports can offer us. Tight ones all over, the top teams in the sport looking more vulnerable than ever, maybe with the exception of Alabama. Close one in the swamp hardly qualifies as vulnerable in my book, but...
Mike Norvell, eyes on the clock, 8:40 to go. His defense has answered the bell. They have kept Louisville off the scoreboard in the second half. Cardinals came out of the gates on fire. Scores on their first 5 drives. They'll bring it out to the 25 as we take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Goodyear. Alabama at number 1, Georgia, 62 points against Vanderbilt. The Commodores had less than 80 yards of total offense. Oregon, Arizona, that should be an easy win for the Ducks. Oklahoma, West Virginia, intriguing one tonight in Norman.
A great West Virginia defense. We knew one of the tops last year. And then how about Arkansas up on Texas A&M 20-10 here. A very happy Taylor McGregor down on our sidelines.
A lot of happy fans here too when they showed that score because A&M is where Jimbo Fisher coaches these days.
People don't forget.
They kind of get the sense Louisville for a while now has been one drive away from putting this game away. Blitz, Cunningham runs, gets free, stays on his feet, tiptoes the sideline, cuts it back. Malik Cunningham with his dancing shoes on. However, a flag down at the 42-yard line.
What a great call. Finally, spread them out again. You get the 5-man pressure here, and Malik's going to outrun the spy. The holding's going to come on a receiver downfield after the first down. So still plenty of yards.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. We play first down. Holding was on number 88.
Jalen Carter, the junior from Louisville.
And we talked so much about penalties for Florida State coming into this. It's been some holdings on these draw plays for Louisville in the second half.
Cunningham has now had 2 long runs brought back due to holding.
Clear as day on the perimeter, and you had the first down. Good runs are made by the offensive line, great ones by the wide receivers, but sometimes you got to know when the day is over and when the play is over and not put your team in a bad position, but you start off here 1st and 10 again.
Since the 1:08 mark of the second quarter, Louisville only 62 yards of total offense. Cunningham to the air, sideline throw, and he completes to Marshawn Ford.
This again, you're giving your quarterback, I think, a better view of the field here. They started to commit too much too early to taking the air out of the football, trying to drain this clock here. Florida State's still talented up front. Dennis Briggs, number 6, came back for them in this second half, has been huge in the middle. Now you got to let Malik win it for you on the perimeter again, getting it to your playmakers.
Cunningham looking for an escape route. It's not there.
This is a spot in niche. We've seen the draws go 5 wide here. Give your quarterback the field to survey, and then even more space if he wants to take off here.
Louisville led 31-7 in the first half. Florida State has had some memorable comebacks since these two have been playing in ACC games, 2018 and 2014. On third down, to the sideline, Josh Johnson, who moves the chains.
Huge first down for them. Great job again. Scott Satterfield, motion across. Let your quarterback know no one runs with him, zone coverage, hit him going to the sideline. Now you can settle in a little bit here more. Now you can start to run the more full complement of your offense because you got that first down.
Satterfield got a lot of praise for the way he called that win against UCF last Friday. Up the middle. Berkeley stopped in his tracks. I go back to that UCF game. Fourth quarter, game on the line. Louisville put it on Malik Cunningham's shoulders. And his shoulders were as wide as Atlas.
Wide and strong. And we know, without one of his playmakers in Braden Smith right now, huge at wide receiver for this team. But you're going to have to go over the top. You saw there, Florida State going to bring more pressure, going to continue to play man and shrink these windows in some key situations. You've got to be willing to let him win, as now you've got two backs flanking him in the backfield.
Isaac Martin motions out. Cunningham, dangerous throw, incomplete. They wanted Berkeley. It sets up 3rd and 10. And let's see if Jermaine Johnson and this Florida State defense pinned their ears back.
Way too many third and obvious passing situations in the second half for Louisville. They were averaging around 3rd and 6, 3rd and 6.5 in the first half.
They started 8 of 9 on 3rd down, 1 for 7 since.
Five seconds left on the clock. They're going to have to burn a timeout here.
They just get it off. Or did they? It looks like we got a timeout.
Delayed game.
No.
Offense. The 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And you see Scott Satterfield giving the official an earful right now. Couldn't see if he was trying to get the timeout into him and he just didn't see it or not, but either way, crucial mistakes again for this Louisville offense. Penalties undermining all their efforts.
Again, at 31-7, we were talking about would Florida State play Chubba Purdy in the second half with Jordan Travis unavailable. If Louisville doesn't convert, Florida State's about to get the ball back with a chance to tie. The screen. Ball comes out. Louisville able to recover. Nonetheless, it's 4th down, and the punting unit comes on.
Trying to set up the wide receiver screen here on 3rd and a mile, just get something going. But another instance where a Louisville ball carrier put one on the mat, and just a fortuitous bounce that it ends up back in the hands of Justin Marshall, so you can live to kick.
After scoring on the first 5 drives, 7 straight empty possessions for Louisville. Bassett to punt it away. Helton lets it bounce. Let's check in with Kevin.
14, NC State, a chance to beat Clemson. Christopher Dunn, 39 yards, but he pulled it. Clemson has just 8 first downs in this game, but they're going to overtime over on ESPN. Meantime, moments ago in Waco, Brock Purdy to Breece Hall pulled Iowa State to within 2, Acho.
Yes, within 2. They go for the 2-point conversion, and they don't get it. Iowa State loses. It was a muff snap thrown away by Brock Purdy. Iowa State loses to Baylor.
Big win for the Bears. Anish, the Cyclones dropped to 2-2.
Dave Aranda in season 2 in Waco looks like a keeper. That's Corbin on 1st down. We check in with Taylor.
You can see Yasir Abdullah back out there in the game. They put icy hot up and down his right calf and then taped up his right ankle and then handed him his helmet. He went through some running drills on the sideline. Seems good to go.
And that was Braden Smith, who you saw on the sideline. Abdullah 22, flag down.
False start. Offense, number 76. It's a 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Darius Washington, who's been a trooper on that O-line last week, played 3 positions out of need because Florida State was so short-handed up front.
Right tackle, left tackle, and center. He started the season over at right tackle. Him and Robert Scott flip coming back into this game. They cross-train all these guys. Alex Atkins, their offensive line, and they've got their hands full with a guy like Yasir Abdullah.
That's a break for Louisville. Second down. Milton to the air. Incomplete, intended for McLean. Trey Clark there to break it up. Florida State today, 5 for 14 on third down. Still not great there. Only 3 penalties, 0 turnovers. It's been cleaner, but they dug themselves in a big hole early.
This time the Cardinals in for Florida State. They finally got behind the chains on offense here. It changes all the math, and now we've seen Louisville sit back at the sticks and dare McKenzie Milton to make the throw in a tight window.
Milton steps up. They'll try to run. He can't get away. 4th down for Florida State. Yaya Diaby got him from behind. And Milton slow to get up, helped up by Dylan Gibbons. Now 4:38 to go. You still have 3 timeouts. Offense is out there.
Yeah, the punt unit not even together on the sideline. This feels a bit too early for me based on how your defense has been playing here.
It does.
I have to wonder if they're going to try and get him to draw off sides here, maybe get a free one and then bang one of these 3 timeouts.
Questionable decision here. They're going for it. 4th and 10. Milton throws incomplete. And there is a flag at the end of the play.
Pass interference. Defense, number 9. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul. Inclusion automatic. First down.
C.J. Avery and Florida State with new life.
The veteran in this linebacker core, and that must have been the wrong call right there. That was Dorian Jones, number 44, on that play for the call.
Boy,
just inexcusable mental mistake right there.
Mike, I'm not sure, though, about that 4th and 10. The way the defense is played, you have 3 timeouts. There's still 4+ minutes to go.
A huge gamble. Don't agree with it, but backed their way into this one, and now they live to play another down.
And you start thinking maybe the football gods owe them one. Breaking free is Corbin. Still going into Cardinal territory. 25 more, up to 160 yards. A new career high. He's done it all on just 10 carries.
He's been remarkable, and again, these are just zone runs, a man on a man. And then in every scheme, you've got one extra guy. We always said that's the running back's man. He's been making them miss all afternoon.
Less than 4 minutes to go. Corner blitz. And Corbin tripped up in the backfield. Kendrick Duncan, the safety, came up and got him.
And Anish, I think we're going to have to see more of that from Louisville now as they sub bodies in, keep the D-line fresh. But you're going to have to sell out to stop this rushing attack. And what have we seen when that happens? McKenzie Milton, if you catch them in a play-action pass look, if he's under pressure, he's been lights out for Florida State today.
200-plus rushing yards for Florida State. Milton stumbles and down he goes near midfield. Turf Monster got him earlier. That time the pressure was coming. It'll go as a sack. And that is 5 now by this Louisville defense, and it's 3rd and 18. And if you went for it from way back further, this is 4-down territory as well.
And Mike Norvell made his intentions clear here, and the depth of that Louisville defensive front is they're going to get another 3-man rush right here. No penalties on the back end after that last play.
Florida State needs the 32. Can they get some of it back? Here's Ward. Takes it to the 40-yard line. They'll spot him at the 39. 4th and 7.
And this looks like Andrew Parchment territory, number 7, the transfer wideout, all alone at the bottom of the formation.
Milton flushed again. Downfield for Parchment, incomplete. He wanted Parchment to go. Parchment stopped, and Louisville takes over on downs.
Just brutal. You saw McKenzie Milton on the run there, trying to communicate with Parchment, telling him to go deep. And Parchment thought, all right, my quarterback's scrambling. Usually in the scramble drill, the idea is come back to the quarterback, give him hands. Two guys just couldn't get on the same page there in a brutal, critical play.
And now Florida State staring at its first 0-4 start since 1974. Let's check in with Kevin.
Anish, thanks. For those of you looking for Kentucky and South Carolina, it's about to get underway on the ESPN app. Kevin Harris had a huge game in Lexington a year ago, 210 yards on the ground. He's trying to get going here in 2021. Cats and Gamecocks coming up in a matter of minutes and starting on the ESPN app.
2:12 left in regulation. Louisville ball. Florida State's got the 3 timeouts. The Cardinals have not scored in the second half. Handoff to Jalen Mitchell. Into a roadblock, got a yard and a half, second down. Florida State will use its first timeout, and really, they need to force a 3 and out. A first down, this game is pretty much over.
That's the charge right now for Louisville up front. Florida State's defensive line been selling out to knife up in that backfield here. And this is where we're going to see, can Malik Cunningham finally pull one and get you that much-needed first down that's evaded him?
UFC 266 tonight. 2 title fights and the return of Nick Diaz to the octagon. He'll take on former champ Ruthless Robbie Lawler. Alexander Volkanovski defends his featherweight belt against Brian Ortega. And we'll get to see Valentina Shevchenko put her flyweight title on the line against Lauren Murphy. All right. If Louisville can take this to the finish line, that's back-to-back wins. It's a conference win on the road. You know how much you value those. Well, you played for an independent, so you don't, but the people get it. What's the narrative like for Louisville coming off this game if they hold on and win?
Well, for the coaching staff, the narrative in the outside world's not going to matter. For the coaching staff is, we did what we're supposed to do. Fast start, got out of the gates. We let our foot off the gas against a team with plenty of talent on the other side. We're not going to out-talent anyone. We were not consistent enough today. They've got to be consistent and execute down this stretch here and get this first down.
Cunningham will keep. Vipers to the perimeter, and it sets up a 3rd down. Another timeout used by Florida State. If the Noles get a stop here, remember, they had a drive at the end of the first half. They scored in about 40 seconds. Malik Cunningham, you expect him to get it on 3rd down. He's been magnificent today.
We've seen everything from him. Started off going deep. We know the 2 rushing touchdowns for him early in the first half. It's been about the way he's seen the game today. I thought him in the intermediate game in the first half, that they went away from in the second half.
Game Track brought to you by Mission Tiger. Cunningham last week, a passing touchdown, 2 on the ground, 264 through the air, 53 on the ground, and a couple of long runs brought back due to holding.
He's been great for you again today. I thought it was front-loaded in that first half. Like we said, they went away from that intermediate passing. Braden Smith, your wideout, that was crucial for you being out. This play, without question, the ball is in his hands. You live with the consequences that come with it. I'd try and put them in a bind here, give him a lead blocker, maybe coming across the formation on his own read, and say, you're the best player on our team. Go and win the game for us.
Cunningham keeps it. Up the middle, sandwiched. He's going to be a couple of yards shy, and Florida State uses its final timeout. 1:57 to go. 4th and 2.
And Anish, they went back to the well. This is the play they scored on earlier. Pistol formation. They want to send the running back, Jalen Mitchell, up as a lead blocker. But you see he bounces it outside. He doesn't go up in the hole here. there to give his quarterback an extra hat in that situation. Your lead blocker goes outside. The results change drastically on that play that they tried to replicate.
All right, Clemson, NC State in overtime. Kevin, what's the update?
Anish, first possession of OT. DJ Uiagalelei to Justin Ross.
Yeah, first possession. Patience by DJ. Justin Ross across the middle for the touchdown.
NC State driving right now. 21-14 over on ESPN.
We've got our eyes on that one, and this one's not quite over either. Florida State's going to get the ball back. Vassett's been a weapon in the punting game today. Seminoles out of timeouts. Helton awaits. Fair catch called for at the 6. A 47-yard punt. Will we see Milton magic? Or can Louisville make it 2 straight and start 1-0 in conference?
For McKenzie Milton, we talked about coming back after missing almost 3 years after that injury. His first game back against Notre Dame, what does he do? Leads them down on a game-tying drive to send it into overtime. He's already gotten a few years worth of these key high-pressure situations in just a handful of games after that injury.
The ultimate profile and courage. One of the best quarterbacks in college football before a catastrophic knee injury. They feared he may lose his leg. They feared he would never walk right again. And here he is playing football now for Florida State after transferring from UCF. 94 yards to go. Milton from his own end zone. On the slant, it's caught. It's Ontario Wilson. Rather, Jashaun Corbin. 2nd and 5. Clock continues to run. No timeouts. Milton on the move. To the sideline. The freshman McLean makes the catch, picks up the first down. That will momentarily stop the clock.
Great job by Milton being able to buy time. They talked about Malik McLean. They want him to be the alpha, looking for him in this high-pressure spot.
Now Louisville preventing him from getting to the sideline. Milton, downfield, flag down, intended for Parchment. Couple of big pass interference penalties on Louisville in this 4th quarter. That's Trey Clark.
Pass interference, defense number 13. It's a 15-yard penalty, includes automatic first down.
And it stops the clock. 1:16 to go before halftime.
Your best corner in that spot here, and he's arguing that Parchment was the one getting physical with him at the top of that route. I didn't see much in the way of pass interference there, as the wide receiver was trying to work and push off the defensive back as well.
Before halftime, Florida State had a 41-second touchdown drive. Milton completes to the sideline, out of bounds, Parchment. The clock stops with 1:11 to go.
Parchment feeling it right now. Clark, usually their best cover corner, but they're going right at him on this drive as Louisville's played back off. They may have to get up and start getting physical with these guys.
Milton again will throw. Pressure. And he's sacked. Ashton Gelati. The clock continues to run. There's an injured Louisville player.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 1 seconds. 1:01. Thank you.
Anish, as we take a look back at this play right here, Taylor mentioned knowing where your help is on this play here. You see a 3-man rush. Watch Devontae Love-Taylor at right guard working with his right tackle, Robert Scott here. They get a 3-man rush. You've got 97 in that gap there. He leaves too early to look back inside. In that spot, your double team's over there. You want to keep it outside of the better pass rushers.
That might be Diaby who is going for the quarterback along with Gelati, and it is Yaya Diaby, a young man who came to Louisville out of junior college. No FBS or FCS offers out of high school, and he's turned into a heck of a player. Let's check in quickly with Kevin.
Yeah, Adish, for those tuning in to see Kentucky and South Carolina, we want to let you know that game has kicked off. It's underway right now on the ESPN app. You will see it here on ESPN2, but only after things go final in Tallahassee. Kentucky, South Carolina in the on-deck circle and on the ESPN app right now. Adish?
All right, thank you, Kevin. Now, the injury bug hitting Louisville. Monty Montgomery got hurt last week. One of their top defensive players, he's out for the season. We saw Abdullah go down in this game. He did come back in. Braden Smith carted off, was seen in a boot on the sideline. One of Louisville's top receivers. And now Diaby going off the field.
Looked like someone landed on his shoulder maybe there. The right tackle, Robert Scott. Hopefully just the wind knocked out of him, something like that. He can recover back on the sideline.
2nd and 14 after the sack. Clock starts as the official signals go. Milton heaves it downfield for Parchment. Adjusting, and it's intercepted. Trey Clark picks it off for Louisville.
Led the ACC in passes broken up last season. Was on the Thorpe Award watch list going into the year. And they had been trying him on this drive. We saw the pass interference penalty before. They had been going at him with Parchment. Just a great job. Ball slightly underthrown, and he turns around and makes a heck of a play on this thing. Hand fighting both ways. He has just as much right to the ball. And you see Parchment try and turn into the defender there late and get in the way, but just incredible concentration by Trey Clark.
He had 2 picks against Eastern Kentucky, all ACC a season ago. And Louisville a kneel down away from getting out of Doak Campbell with a conference win. 2 in a row for this Louisville team. They showed a lot of toughness and grittiness last Friday against UCF. Got off to a great start on the road today, then hung on. Florida State, that's 3 gut-wrenching defeats now in 4 games. 0-4 for the first time since 1974, a season that FSU started 0-8. And when you start to look at the rest of the schedule, you have to wonder how many wins are left for the Seminoles.
We already saw a lot of mental toughness on display, though, for that team, as we've got a flag down on the field right now.
If this is against Florida State, there's a 10-second runoff here as well.
Substitution infraction on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty because the game clock was stopped. Under a minute and the game clock was running. Please set the game clock to 9 seconds. It'll start on my signal.
They're going to have to clear everyone off the field here right now. They're acting like this game is over. They're going to wind that clock and now finish this game off.
Louisville hangs on. Florida State winless in September. They get Syracuse next week. 31-23, your final score from Tallahassee. Next up, Kentucky and South Carolina on ESPN2.
So what is the Cardinals pull it out? Meantime, over on ESPN.
A different kind of Florida man headline. Florida man won't age, can't stop winning championships. Florida man quits college, saves city. Florida men reunite to rescue Dolphins.
You're watching ESPN College Football Prime Time. It's presented by Sonos. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. We're in the first quarter, 7-0. Kentucky opening drive, they score. Chance Poore will kick things away. Juju McDowell back deep for the Gamecocks.
Because how about that drive by Kentucky? Mark Stoops wanted efficiency. That's what it looks like right there.
I tell you what, we've had some shockers in the SEC. Let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Because Georgia State led 24-12, but TJ Finley to Shedrick Jackson Acho put Auburn up.
Yeah, this is an unbelievable play. Look at the agility, the mobility, the presence in the pocket to get them the lead in the fourth quarter.
They just scored again. It's 34-24. Meantime, in Raleigh, NC State up 6, 4th and 5. DJ's pass drops incomplete. The celebration is on. The Wolfpack beat Clemson. Brian.
Kevin Harris gets the rock, breaks the tackle, and finally brought down by Terrell Asian. 6-yard pickup for Harris.
Well, when Kentucky had the football, we saw what they're up to. They want Chris Rodriguez to be the tone setter for their entire offense and get that physical run game and then efficient a pass game with Will Levis. And South Carolina is very much the same with Luke Doty pulling the trigger here tonight in his third start of his career.
Juju McDowell in the slot, top of your screen. Harris in the backfield, that's McDowell. And they give it to Harris. And Coach Beamer said, you know, Harris, who of course coming off that back surgery in July, says he's shaking the rust off. And they hope to have him by mid-season form here very soon.
Yeah, and his touches are going up week by week, so you can tell that he's getting healthier. He had back surgery in July, so it's understandable that a physical running back in this conference is going to take time to come back. But he's essential for South Carolina to be efficient and effective offensively in this conference.
3rd and 3 for the Gamecocks. And he's going to swing this one out to Harris. And he's brought down by Cedric Dort.
Kentucky doing a really nice job of funneling it to third down and then funneling it to a throw where Dort can break on the ball and tackle a big SEC running back and force South Carolina to punt.
Kai Kroger will punt things away. Josh Ali standing back at his own 22. Fair catch is called for and made it to 17. 7-0 our score. 6 minutes here in the first quarter.
I just got my cashback match. Is this for real?
Yep. We match all the cashback new card members earn at the end of their first year automatically.
Woo, I got my money.
It's hard to contain yourself, isn't it?
Well, let it go. Woo.
Get a $1 match at the end of your first year, only from Discover.
We are here. For new homeowners, a football game can really bring out the parent in them.
It's smart we park near the exit.
Absolutely.
There you go. That way.
Let's put away the parking talk maybe for a minute.
Parking is where the money is, though. You imagine what this place pulls in on parking alone?
All right, no more talking about parking lots.
A lot of these are compact spots.
It's not pretty.
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us.
We still planning to head out around the third quarter?
Let's not talk about leaving before we're actually at the game.
Pizza Hut's Detroit-style pizza is back. Same crispy crust, cheese all the way to the edge, and the sauce still on top. Okay, now I'm hungry. The Detroit-style pizza. Create your own or pick from 3 signature recipes. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hey, how you doing, baby? You look mighty fine. I figured I might come your way and roll up on you with that golden ticket.
Smell irresistible. The new Axe Effect.
on a memorable Fansville by Dr. Pepper.
I can't believe my boy's already heading off to college. Here, in case they don't have us at Coastal U.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, yeah, I got you something, too.
Your Science Day game ball. It's your most prized possession.
Yeah, I was saving it for when you went to state.
Yeah, Coastal U is where I belong.
Here, catch. No!
It was right to you.
I thought I was holding all this stuff.
That ball's like a son to me.
Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
What up? I'm Sean's brain.
And when he's hungry, I wander.
And there's only one way to get me back again. Hot Pockets.
Harness the cheesy, meaty, hunger-slaying power of Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Sonos. Experience game-changing sound made easy. And in part by Pizza Hut. Order today at pizzahut.com.
Our Week 3 Monday Night Football matchup, big early season NFC East showdown. The Eagles taking on the Cowboys. It comes your way 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. ESPN2 will have Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli. Our coverage begins Monday Night Countdown, 6 Eastern and 3 Pacific. So after a 51-yard punt, Kentucky will start on their own 17. Will Levis, he's gone 3 for 4 so far for 10 yards passing. Chris Rodriguez in the backfield. Play fake to the outside. That's to Brendan Bates. Bates breaking tackles and finally knocked out of bounds.
And the run pass option, zone inside. And let's take a look at Chick-fil-A impact players of the game. Wandale Robinson and Josh Vann, both outside guys that need to make big plays here this evening.
And that was Josh Ali. Jalen Foster makes the stop. Ali has now caught a pass in 15 consecutive games. Meanwhile, Chris Rodriguez, he's got 35 yards rushing. He's now 11th all-time on the UK rushing list. Wildcats with 3 tight ends. Rodriguez, the lone setback. He gets the rock. Patient as he bounced that out to the left. Again, Foster there with the stop.
And patience is a great word because Leon Cohn comes from the Rams, which is exactly what attracted Mark Stoops to that bloodline, if you will. The Sean McVay approach to offense. Use of tight ends, get in third and manageable, and continue to just move the sticks, control the game through the run game and a tight end pass game.
3rd and 3. Kentucky so far perfect on 3rd down. 3 for 3. Wandale Robinson in the slot, bottom of your screen in that bunch set. Levis looking. That's complete to Rodriguez, who falls down.
And that bunch set was going from the outside in and creating a wave of traffic. And then it was the running back Rodriguez leaking out into the flat. And that just simply wasn't very good ball placement. And at times, Will Levis will be wrong-footed. He doesn't get his feet out where the ball is going, and sometimes his feet lag his eyes in his arm, and that was a good example of it.
Colin Goodfellow with the punt. Back deep is Josh Vann. Vann makes the catch. Fair catch there at his own 19. 3 minutes, 55 seconds left in the first quarter. Kentucky up 7.
I live for this rivalry.
See you at Fenway.
Tomorrow at 7 on ESPN.
Yes, so what I'm saying is people like options. I mean, you take Geico. You can call them any time you feel like saving money. It don't matter, day or night. Use your computer, your smartphone, your tablet, whatever. The point is, you have options. Ah, how convenient. Oi, crab cakes. What are you looking at?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Hey, you! Domino's is giving away $50 million in surprise frees.
A whole pizza?
Yes.
Other delivery apps add surprise fees.
Not cheap.
At Domino's, we're giving out surprise frees instead.
Surprise freeze!
Surprise what?
Freeze with an R.
When you order delivery online, you could be surprised with free lava cakes, free stuffed cheesy bread, free pizza, or more.
Yes!
Check the Domino's tracker to find out.
Where are you gonna have pizza next time?
Domino's!
That's what I love to hear.
The best things America makes are the things America makes out here. The history she writes in her clear blue skies, the legends she births on hometown fields, and the future she promises. When we made Grand Wagoneer, proudly assembled in America, we knew no object would ever rank with the best things in this country. But we believed we could make something worthy of their spirit.
Okay, I'm up. 5 more minutes.
Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Okay, this house. Spontaneous me. Should we make an offer? Buy it! Too spontaneous. Worst case scenario me. Can we afford it? I've run the numbers. It doesn't end well. This is getting us nowhere. Let's just ask Zillow for help with financing. Yeah, let's ask Zillow for help with financing.
That was fun.
Alexa, play our dance playlist.
Your playlist, dance.
I can't do golden rings, but I'll give you everything.
Alexa, turn on the living room lights. Turning on lights.
Alexa, can you pause time?
Let's just enjoy the moment.
Experience the new BMW X3 with Alexa built in.
Dignity. It demands that you can do simple things with ease while managing chronic pain. It demands a rapid test to help evaluate concussion in case something happens. And knowing your baby is getting the nutrition he needs, no matter how you choose to feed him. At Abbott, we fight for these moments, developing life-changing technologies because dignity demands it.
Under 4 minutes left here in the first quarter. 7-0 our score here in Columbia, South Carolina. Brian Custer alongside Kelly Stauffer getting the opportunity now to see Luke Doty again, their second offensive possession. Sophomore just making his third career start.
Yeah, and he has to get something going early to get a good taste in his mouth, but Kentucky knows exactly how to take a crowd out of the game. 12-play drive over 6.5 minutes and get in the end zone. That's exactly the way to do it.
And they run Juju McDowell here, the jet sweep around that right side, and that's a first down. And, you know, when we were talking to the offensive coordinator, Marcus Satterfield, he said last week he had so many packages for Juju, and at the end of the game, he had no touches. He said that will never happen again.
Yeah, he told us that he let the defense kind of take his big play guy away, and you're right, that shouldn't happen. But Juju is the guy that brings the juice to this offense. He needs to get some touches. There isn't any question about it.
This time from the pistol. And they give it to Harris. Harris right side. And brought down by Tyrell Asian. Let's go down to the field. Third member of our team. Here's Lauren Sisler. Sis?
Hey guys, good to hear from you. The energy down here has been pretty incredible. Obviously, South Carolina getting the ball back, and Luke Doty now getting his third start at quarterback. And so far impressed with the young man. Seeing him here on the sidelines, he's got a calming presence about him, a little bit of energy too, a little bbit of juice, walking around talking to his teammates, telling them we're good. And here's the bottom line. This kid came in and did not flinch last week against Georgia. Let's see how he plays tonight against this Kentucky team in what is a pretty raucous atmosphere. So far, it's a lot of fun.
Swings that one out to Juju McDowell, and he's just about a yard shy of a first down, and you can see the Gamecocks going with tempo. And again, it's McDowell, this time up the middle. And they'll move the sticks.
And McDowell is really the guy that can get quick to the perimeter, which this offense needs. I don't know that this offensive line's in good enough shape to just methodically drive the football in a physical run game.
And Kentucky's going to call a timeout here. Gamecocks hitting them with tempo.
Yeah, and our big guy, Marquand McCall, massive mountain of a man inside number 50 is a defensive tackle right there that South Carolina has to control in that run game, and that's easier said than done. Remember, South Carolina faced Jordan Davis, that massive defensive tackle for Georgia last week, 6'6", 340. McCall is very similar to that. He can destroy a run game. So we'll keep an eye on number 50, but the way that you get the gas out of a big tackle like that is forcing to cover screens outside. We've seen it with Juju McDowell already, but also the tempo. Take the starch out of the big guy and see what level of condition he has.
Hey, look at Shane Beamer. I mean, you want to talk about exuberance? Look at his reaction here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Get this defense on their heels. And that's what he's brought to this program. Certainly some excitement. Juju McDowell remains in the backfield, and they go from the pistol. Here is Doty. Looking down the sideline, looking for Van, and just overthrows him.
Gotta have him. It was a cowboy blitz. It essentially means a corner blitz off the boundary side, and Van ran right by Corker, the safety that was over top of him. And it was somewhat of a double move, but Van really didn't have to do anything except turn on the afterburner. But you gotta give your big play receiver outside a chance.
Van has put up back-to-back numbers. I mean, you're talking about 125 plus yards receiving in back-to-back games. And he's going to hand this one off to Juju.
You know, because that's very much like, you know, in the game of baseball where you get an opportunity, you get a fastball down the middle, you knew it was coming, and you miss it. That's a missed fastball right there by Luke Doty to Josh Van on the play prior to that one.
Just a 2-yard pickup. And again, you talk about tempo. 7th play coming of this drive. Doty looks to the sideline to get the play.
And 2 high safeties typically means run the football, but not at 3rd and 7.
Van at the bottom of your screen. Under pressure and sacked. J.J. Weaver. And let me tell you something. J.J. Weaver is a special kid for Kentucky. And he's got 6 fingers. He's got 6 fingers on his right hand.
And embracing that story as well. We talked to the young man, and what a pleasure coming off the bottom of the screen. And it's just speed off the edge, and it's once again a busted assignment outside by Ja'Kai Moore, the left tackle.
Josh Ali calls for the fair catch, and it takes a Gamecock bounce. And they're going to down that thing inside the 5. They're going to mark it at the 3-yard line. A 52-yard punt. And they're going to back the Wildcats up.
Well, South Carolina really needs that phase of the game to go in their favor. There isn't any question.
Well, for more on J.J. Weaver, let's go down to the field and Lauren.
Hey guys, you know, there is no high-fiving J.J. Weaver, it's high-sixing. He is embracing the 6 fingers, and believe it or not, they are fully functional on that right hand, and actually helps him to grip the ball and catch the ball better. And this is something he didn't always want to show people, but our dear friend Susan Lax, the Director of Athletic Communications at Kentucky, helped him open up about his 6 fingers, using it as a platform, and he wants to use the slogan now, the perfect fit.
He's certainly the perfect fit for this defense. Rodriguez gets it, and he is swallowed up by that South Carolina defense. Ball comes loose, but they said he was down. Damani Staley, the first to meet him.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was down, but it was absolutely an offensive lineman that was paying attention. This ball comes out, I think, pretty early. And then the offensive lineman comes flying in there. Eli Cox was aware, and Kentucky was very fortunate.
Turnovers have certainly been the story as the clock winds down here in the first quarter, especially for Kentucky. Hey, Rodriguez, he's already got 3 fumbles this season for Kentucky. We've finished 1 quarter. It's Kentucky 7, South Carolina nothing. SEC here on ESPN.
Et voila, the double up. Oh.
I'm working.
Rated mature.
Out here,
Out here,
you're trapped.
we're free. The only way to protect the cycle.
The only way to break the cycle is to kill it.
PlayStation.
You said that you would shave your eyebrow off for a hashtag Klondike. Go, go.
What'd you do for a Klondike?
Come on, Nuggets. With all that IT stuff we gotta do, let's fuel up with some chunky soup. Woo! Woo! Let's go, baby.
Fill up with 16 grams of protein per can and chunky spicy chicken noodle.
French fries, come on.
Lunchtime is your halftime.
Welcome to Allstate, where we've just lowered our auto rates. And savings like that follow you everywhere. Now get new lower auto rates with Allstate. Because better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click or call for a lower auto rate today.
What up? I'm Sean's brain. And when he's hungry, I wander. And there's only one way to get me back again. Hot Pockets.
Harness the cheesy, meaty, hunger-slaying power of Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
Subway has so much new it didn't fit in their last ad, like the new steak and cheese. They start with new freshly baked artisan Italian bread, and then they pile on new thicker cut, tender marinated steak and top it off with melted cheese. Well, guess they need another ad. The Eat Fresh refresh at Subway. There's too much new to fit in one commercial.
I'm Jacob Emrani. Subway has so much new, it didn't fit in their last ad, so they bought time in mind. Their new artisan Italian bread is the best. Just ask my satisfied clients.
Jacob got me the footlong I deserve.
Call Jacob.
My new money goal?
My new money goal?
We've got money goals.
Buy a place closer to my family down south.
Invest in Black-owned companies.
Invest in green companies.
Invest for my daughter's future and my retirement at the same time.
Have a better credit card than her.
Whatever your money goals, NerdWallet knows the smartest ways to make them happen. Compare and find the smartest credit cards, mortgages, and investing accounts on NerdWallet. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
If time and reality are a construct, what if we could rebuild it?
Question everything. We did. The all-new Hyundai Tucson. Marvel Studios' What If original series now streaming.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Willie B. Stadium here in Columbia as we begin the second quarter, 7-0 the score. Kentucky on top of South Carolina. You know, this stadium holds over 82,000. And they're loud, they're raucous. Levis to Rodriguez, following his blocks. And I think we got a flag. Darius Rush made the stop.
Holding. Offense, number 83. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. Remains second down.
Justin Autry, our referee. That's on Justin Rigg.
Yeah, one of the 3 tight ends that really factor into the run game and as the pass game as well. A lot of movement. We talked about Liam Cohn, the new offensive play caller for Kentucky, comes from that Sean McVay bloodline, and a lot of pre-snap movement to test the discipline of the eyes of the defense and change that picture that they see right before the snap a ton.
Play clock running down on Kentucky. Levis. think we got a timeout.
Kentucky. It's their second charge timeout of the half.
That play clock was at 2. One timeout left for Kentucky. 7-0 our score.
I just got my cashback match. Is this for real?
Yep. We match all the cashback new card members earn at the end of their first year automatically.
Whoa, I got my money.
It's hard to contain yourself, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Well, let it go.
Get a $1-for-$1 match at the end of your first year, only from Discover.
There are lots of ways to love that chicken from Popeyes. Like our sandwich and our nuggets. Both are marinated for 12 hours and freshly prepared, so every bite is crunchy and juicy. Get them today for only $3.99.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Jake from State Farm. What's good?
Yo, Patrick?
Nah, fam. Just your typical sneakerhead working here for the employee discount. But speaking of deals, I heard regular guys like me